You're all surprised.
How many inches are we talking here?
Ooh, 9.
Oh my lord.
Yep.
As much as I think I'm above this kind of talk, I will say, okay, never mind.
We are alive.
We're live.
They call me Peter. They call me Peter South. Yep.
Nice.
Don't try to change this conversation to what we're actually talking about.
Sorry.
No, I've cut myself off. I'm done.
Okay.
Cole,
Oh, yeah.
Are you a fucking patriot or not?
Yes, I am.
Comrade. So we're going to be doing a commentary for The Matrix.
Woo woo.
Tonight.
It's been quite a while since I watched the movie. I've seen like little bits and pieces, but
I haven't watched it in a very long time.
Yeah, it's been a lot. Yeah, I just thought, we were just trying to find something that's fun that we all had access to, and also, we did Dark City on our show a little while ago, and that has like comparisons, so we make to The Matrix and stuff like that. So it kind of made me think, yeah, let's see The Matrix again.
Thanks for the invite, guys.
Yeah, well, we did invite you.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
I think with this movie though, it came out in '99. Saw it in the theater twice, and then I watched it probably 20 times or more from '99 to 2005, and I haven't seen it since, honestly.
Yeah, it was a big deal. I saw it in theater, but I saw it like right when it first came out, before it had buzz, really. Like the movie didn't really have that much buzz. Like nobody knew it was going to be what it was. Like the Wachowskis, they weren't anybody or anything like that and stuff. So, I mean, I went to see the movie because it's like, okay, this seems like a pretty neat movie. And I came out of the theater thinking it was okay, and I was just like, that just got weirder and weirder because they did a pretty good job. Because back then, trailers didn't spoil absolutely everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you didn't know you were going to find out, like, oh, he's living in a, made-up computer world, blah, blah, blah. Like, that was a bit of, we all got to take the ride of, oh, reality's not real and stuff. So I remember that was my real impression coming out of the movie, because I remember I was there with Ryan and a few of my friends, but I also bumped into a couple other people that I knew from high school that were there separately. And I just remember having a brief conversation with them about it on the way out. So that's how I remember sort of my thoughts, because I got to say them, like, right off. And then, like, I don't know, that was pretty good. But then, like, yeah, I guess people just loved it. And then the people were talking about sequels, and it just became one of the biggest things of the era, the next few years. And it really defined. It was parodied and imitated and constantly referenced. And it was the cutting edge of what was cool in a lot of ways and what people considered cool. So now it doesn't seem that way. It's, it's pretty dated, but I don't know. 99's a year I like a lot, so.
I don't care how much people shit on it or be like, oh, that's an old movie, or soon it's going to be considered a classic. I fucking love The Matrix. It's got everything you want in a movie, and I can see why it's Ryan's favorite movie. I think.
Yeah. I make fun. I'll confess, I do make fun of him a little bit for it, because I mean, it's not like, I don't know. I just think, again, everybody has their things they like, and I know I like plenty of things that aren't, that serious and stuff like that. But I'm just surprised that people take the Matrix so seriously, when I find it's, it's more silly and over the top. But anyway, if you take it seriously, I'm not going to make fun of you. But yeah, to me, I can't take it seriously, especially once you get into the nonsense the sequels bring in. And the first, it's not so bad. They don't heap on too much stuff, but they just keep heaping on all this ridiculousness in the sequels.
Well, it's my life, so you better watch the fuck out, alright, faggot? Sorry.
You call me an asshole.
Yeah, you're a butt munch.
Butt munch, I like it. Mine starts right with the Green Warner Brothers thing. Yours too?
So we're not doing time. We're doing green WB logo. Okay, hang on. Well, this is my favorite part of any commentary. I love this shit.
Yeah.
Okay, is it stopped moving? Is it, how far back is it?
The sync up, and then the fucking up of the sync up.
Yeah. Right at zero.
I already fucked up. Oh my god. I already fucked up. Sorry, hang on. All right, does it say a Time Warner company?
Oh, it's just the green.
I've got the green WB. It's about to fly backwards, but right now it's like right up.
Okay, make it fly backwards, and then it says a Time Warner company at the bottom.
Okay.
We'll meet it there. Yeah.
Okay.
Start at the beginning.
Okay, mine's still a little loud.
Damn it.
All right.
Okay, there. I've got it where it's okay. I've
That says
got
a
it
time.
now where it says a Time Warner Entertainment Company. Is that where you want
Okay.
to start from?
Yeah, that's where we want it. Jay, are you with us?
I'm there. This is like 11 seconds in, guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's 11? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm synced with Jay. Cole's Canadian. I rep it too, but I don't fucking know where he's at.
I'm on metric, so it's all fucked up.
All right.
So here we go.
In centimeters.
3,
Kilometers?
3, 2, 1, play.
There we go.
This is the first movie where like I took note of Lawrence Fishburne. Like this is the first time I like noticed him, saw him on screen. And, yeah, like probably
same here, and I only knew Keanu Reeves from Speed. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah.
Yeah, that's probably all I knew him from. No, I knew Bill and Ted.
I knew everything, man. I knew fucking what's the surfer movie? Point Break, and
I guess I knew Point Break, but at the time I don't think I thought about it.
Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah, still in '99, I still wasn't really making too many connections with actors. You know, I wasn't thinking about them. I saw them here and there, but there's the screen.
I'm trying to see what all, he was Larry Fishburne at the beginning.
Yeah.
He was in Boys in the Hood.
This movie also has one of the best soundtracks, I think, of all time.
Oh, that was the other thing that made like a big impression on me. This, like, I was already kind of into Rage Against the Machine, but this movie kind of solidified it, man.
It's got like 3, and they're all off of that first album too. Like they're not like original songs.
Yeah, that's such a good album.
Yeah, I had the soundtrack.
But yeah, that's the other thing. Like, there's a billion reasons why, obviously, and we can talk about like the sequels aren't that good. But I mean, the first has just a really good ending. Anyway, that's just a really good ending. It leaves it to the imagination what comes next. You have Neo on the phone. He's about to free somebody else, and the fight is still going on. That's actually better than giving us a trilogy that wraps everything up.
I think the trilogy sucking or the sequel sucking so bad is one of the reasons why I don't like the original more than I do.
Yeah. Mine's still really loud.
I can hear just a little bit.
Okay. It's not bad. So yeah, it's a pretty good opening. All these cops are coming for a single woman. It's like, what? Just one woman? And this is definitely the first movie where I saw him, Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, what else was he in, like Lord of the Rings or something?
Yeah, but that's like after this.
Right, I'm just trying to think of what all he's done.
He's done some really interesting stuff, but he's not always that visible. For instance, one of my favorite things he's done, and I give him a lot of credit for this, because most actors, we talked about this before, like the problem with some of the early superhero movies is like, I want my face to be shown instead of wearing a mask, even though like he's V in V for Vendetta. What's great is you never at any point see his face.
Okay.
And also what's really great about that performance is obviously he could have just overdubbed his lines, right?
Right.
He didn't have to memorize anything. Here we go. Boom. I forgot that it started with that.
Yeah, me too.
Weird gravity kick. But leather fetishists love this movie.
Yeah.
But crap, I lost my train of thought. I had to stop and watch Trinity take them out. Oh yeah, I just said, yeah, but I give a lot of credit to Hugo Weaving because he did all those scenes live. Like, he did memorize his lines and he did deliver them like when he's with the other people, which is, I think, the proper way to do it and stuff. But I mean, I don't know how well you remember that movie, but there's a part where like he uses like every V word in the world all in a row in one sentence, and it's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, it's one I bought on Blu-ray a few years ago. I want to rewatch it. It's been so long since I've seen it.
I know Alan Moore hated it because he hates everything, but I thought it was actually really good at adaptation. I remember Alan Moore at the time called it a feeble Bush-era parable.
And what is her name? Carrie something.
Unknown. Fisher? No.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing the same thing.
Carrie Fisher or Carrie Underwood. Carrie Ann Moss.
There it is. First movie I've seen her in, I think.
Yeah.
After this, she's.
I guess she was sort of like a wet dream for a lot of guys that were into it. I've always thought she has kind of a I mean, if we're gonna really do this, I'm gonna be an asshole and criticize an actress. I said she had a very severe-looking face. What is it, the resting bitch face or whatever people say? I don't know.
Yeah, it's something about it that's kind of masculine to me, but
Yeah.
no disrespect
Yeah,
to her.
certainly. I'm not trying to just judge her on that. She's a good enough actress. She's in a few things I like. Not that she's really that important. For instance, she's in Memento.
Right.
Like, is she awesome in Memento? Is it important that it's her? No, not really. It probably could have been anyone, but this movie, yeah, as we talked about before, like it does the kung fu and the gun fu, which have been like big things like in Hong Kong cinema. So it's kind of nice to see that being applied to an American film. The other thing that kind of gets lost in this that was in those kung fu movies too is like the really over the top sound effects. Like every time somebody like throws a kick or anything, it's like whoosh and stuff like that. And that I don't think you really saw that in American movies up to this point.
Well, it's because they're so badass. Like they're kicking so hard or so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a pretty good opening scene for like coming into the movie because you're like, what the fuck was that about? Like all these cops are after this woman. She defies gravity, beats the shit out of them. An agent who's supposed to be there to arrest her tries to kill her with a truck and she disappears in a phone booth. So, I mean, it's got you interested because you don't know what the fuck is going on. So that's another thing that this movie has over the sequels is that this movie has a little bit of a mystery, like because the whole thing is remember the internet campaign. What is the Matrix? We're trying to figure out what this is, what's going on, and the other two, there's no mystery left. Maybe you still don't know what's going on, but that's more because of poor storytelling.
Right.
And this is 99, and this really was, it did sort of coincide with the millennium. Computers have been getting to be more and more of a big deal throughout the 90s, but, this is really the shift where computers, like, become, like, a massive part of, like, almost anybody's life. Because it's, you start, like, with computers, and it's just like, well, at first only a certain amount of people dealt with computers, and they did that at work. They were the people that worked in the industry. Then computers started getting used like in offices and stuff. But again, it was somebody's work. It wasn't until like the early 90s that home PCs became a thing, really. And this movie's right in the transition where it's just like, well, it's just a necessity. Like everybody has a TV, everybody has a computer, everybody's on the internet. Because like just a few years before this movie, the internet was fairly new and it was not something everybody had.
Right.
What's funny is my family was not at all what you would consider a cutting on the edge or a tech savvy family, but we were on the ground floor with the internet.
Really?
I got the internet in '96.
That's pretty early.
Yeah.
I was right around in there somewhere, probably 97, 98.
Yeah. The weird cyber goth crowd.
Yeah.
It's like we're hardcore hackers and we're also super goth for some reason.
Yeah, that's like the movie Hackers.
Love that movie. God, I love that movie. We should do that.
It's okay until like that end sequence.
Can't even remember. I mean, I know it all ends with them doing well. That's kind of the problem with the movie about hackers, though. How do you make hacking like dramatic on screen, right? It's like, oh, they're typing really furiously.
Yeah.
I mean, remember that movie Swordfish? They added a good element to it. It's just like how can we make this interesting? It's like, well, some chick's blowing him while he's doing it. Remember that? Like the bad guy has like a gun to his head and he's like, you have to crack this in the next 60 seconds. Oh, and I have like some, I don't know, underling woman here that's gonna like blow you while you do it, which is some sort of test of your concentration. Like, I don't know. I have no idea what the point of that was, but yeah.
What's going on with the woman there? What's that shit on her face? The one in the back.
Oh crap! I didn't see. Oh yeah, the White Rabbit.
Oh, Rob Zombie.
Oh yeah.
Maybe she'll be here. She had this like, it's like she had a piercing in her ear and then in her nose, and she had this huge thing attaching the two.
Oh,
This
that's
chain like thing.
oh yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah.
But it's more intricate than you're imagining.
Yeah. This is also like, I mean, again, we saw it in Hackers, but Hackers wasn't the big deal. This like the idea of having like an online handle,
Yeah.
like the online handle. But then like when he finds out like none of this is real, it's just like, well then Neo is really who I am. Like I'm not John Anderson, I am Neo. Which is pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. I always liked names and the idea of having different names and different people knowing you by different names. I don't know why. I've always really bought into that. I guess some of it comes from the comic book stuff too, because you have like people with secret identities and stuff. And
She looks kind of malnutritioned.
kind of everybody does in this movie.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Part of it is just like the weird like green hue. Like everything is shot through like this weird like green filter. Which I mean I get because the Matrix the color is green
And then it changes when you get into the real world, right?
yeah.
It looks even more grimy.
Sure, yeah.
I'm not sure whatever filter they put on there for that.
What is the Matrix? But I mean, the Animatrix is actually really good.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it a lot because I think it introduced a lot of people that wouldn't otherwise have watched anime into anime. But also, it actually is really faithful to the idea. It's much better than the Matrix sequels. Like, it actually takes some of the concepts that are brought up in the Matrix and they explore them in interesting ways. I still don't own it. I should really get it sometime.
I've got the old Snapper disc.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wouldn't buy it. I would never buy any of those.
Yeah. I had quite a few of those. I mean, that was like the first DVDs that came out, I think.
Yeah. For many years, when DVDs first came out, The Matrix was the highest selling DVD of all time. It took quite a few years before it got surpassed. I don't know what surpassed it, but like that was like everybody had it. It's kind of weird. I've never owned it, but
Wonder what is the number one selling DVD? It's got to be up there still, just because of the time frame when it came out.
it was for like at least like 10 years, I think. And then here, like speaking of 99, here's another thing. Like Orc was talking about watching Fight Club. Like both this and Fight Club like have this whole thing about like people of a certain generation being stuck in like this kind of thing. Kind of like an Office Space type situation, which also came out in '99. So you got 3 movies about like young men living in like feeling like they're just like just like a number. You're just a name in a
Call
cube.
me a nostalgia fact, but dude, 99 and then like your favorite year, I think, for movies is 2001. Those 2 years, like we were spoiled, man. Late 90s, early 2000s.
There. I remember people in the theater around me visibly reacting to that because I thought the phone was so cool.
I looked that up. It's like a Motorola banana phone is what it's called. It got an arc to it.
Remember the Boost Mobile?
Yeah.
Could hit me, dog.
Yeah. Chirp back.
They're coming for you.
Looks like it's 13th in the top selling DVDs of all time.
Give me the top 5.
It was number 1 for years.
As you can imagine, there's a lot of like animated like cartoon stuff in there, like Pixar stuff. Finding Nemo, Cars, Spider-Man, The Dark Knight, Avatar.
I like Avatar.
Spider-Man, the first one by Raimi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Shrek 2, Transformers, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, then Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah, I
What
own
was
Transformers and Pirates of the Caribbean,
what
I
was
own,
Dark Knight 3 or 4?
and
For
I have Dark Knight.
I mean,
I have
I
all.
actually like Finding Nemo. I haven't seen Finding Dory, but Finding Nemo is a pretty fun movie to watch.
As you might expect, Finding Dory is not as good.
it's not as good. It's
I'm
It's not.
sure.
It's not terrible.
it's sorry, Alan.
Yeah, I mean, making her like the main character is not a good idea.
No, you can't have that shit for the entire movie. It's fucking terrible. It's, I mean, it works in like the 5 minutes she's in the first one. That's like saying we give like bitch tits his full sequel off of Fight Club.
Oh, come on! That's Meatloaf.
That's like surely Meatloaf can sell the movie. Come on,
Okay.
come on. He'd do anything.
This is interesting too because like he punks out here, as I recall. Like so far Morpheus has given him all the right things, but now he has to go out in the building, and it just shows how like much of a normal guy he is. Besides being a badass hacker in the real world, what he thinks is the real world, like he just kind of sucks. That's what he says. I'm nobody. So he tries to go out and he can't do it. So he gets arrested.
Oh no!
Yeah, Keanu, give us your amazing British accent that we love so much.
Oh, wherefore art thou? Oi, mate.
Like even in 1999, Will Smith was still too much of a big shot to like play this role,
He was Big Willie style, man.
and yet he
Millennium.
was the number one choice. He was the first choice, and he turned it down. They wanted him for Neo.
When you watch it, when you just look at different movie sets, like you're saying, Cole, but especially when I watch like Rambo Ref, and he goes through like every actor or actress that could have had the role, like all like 50 of them, and he makes like a 20-minute video. It's fascinating to just like see who passed on what and who could have been in the role, 20, 30 years ago.
Well, actually, Will Smith was the first person they offered it to, but the first person they thought of when they came up with it was Brandon Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Keanu's career probably wouldn't have gone much further without this movie, and the movie probably wouldn't have done as well if Will Smith had been in it. Because I mean, hell, we'd been beaten to death with Will Smith by this point.
Will Smith himself said it was for the best, and he said, he said they probably, if they were going to make me, a black lead, then they probably would have made Morpheus a white guy, and he's probably right. So he said you wouldn't have gotten Lawrence Fishburne.
It's Joe Pesci. Which pill are you gonna take?
hey, you fucker!
Joe Pesci just dressed as Marv.
So you take the red pill and you shit yourself. You take the blue pill and you shit yourself and you find out where it really goes.
Shine box. It's Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Now I'm having regrets that Will Smith didn't take the role. Fuck. Damn it.
Is that true though? Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it's true. That's what Will Smith said. That's what his thoughts on it were. He said, if they cast me, they probably definitely would not have cast another black guy for Morpheus.
But I mean, what difference does that make? I mean,
well, the difference it makes is if they cast him, then it would have not have been Lawrence Fishburne. I guess it's the point he's saying. He's saying the movie is better off because Lawrence Fishburne is in it.
The movie's better off because Will Smith's not in it.
I know, but he's not going to spin it that way, right? So he had to spin it another way. And he's not wrong in that spin, but yes. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of Keanu's. I like Keanu. He's a nice guy. I don't think he's a good actor, but I mean, this is a great role for him. This is the type of thing he should be doing. I like it.
Either one of those guys are really good actors.
Oh, I wasn't saying, because Will Smith is a better actor. No, I don't think that at all. I'm just saying I've never considered Keanu Reeves a good actor, but I still enjoy seeing him in a lot. Yeah. And I think Neo is actually a role that he was right for at the time. I
agree with what you're saying, though. People, I don't mind Will Smith at all. I fucking love Independence Day. I love the first Men in Black too. I love both of those films. But like people love Will Smith like to pieces, and I don't understand why. Like I like the movies he's in, but they're like, oh, it's got Will Smith. Like especially like women, they have this thing. They're just like, oh my god, Will Smith, whoa, fucking hero. Like,
I think that's fine, but it is true that like I don't like movies he's in. I can't think of any movies he's in that I like. Thinking of a Will Smith movie. What's a Will Smith movie I like?
Speaking of Will Smith, look at this guy.
oh shit,
Will Smith.
Big Willie style.
he's here and he likes it.
I can't think of any Will Smith movie that I like. I can't think of one.
He did have that album that was out. At that time.
No, there's Big Willie style, and then there's Will 2K Millennium. He had two.
And
then Eminem's like, you're like a faggot, and then he just and then he stopped making rap albums.
God, who bought that shit? I was listening to like the most hardcore gangster rap on the planet Earth at the time, and he's over here like getting jiggy with it, guys. Come on, fellas.
You know who bought it? A lot of parents for their elementary school kids
it was acceptable, right? You know, it's like, oh, my kids are into the hip hop. Oh, there you go, Will Smith.
Will Smith was like kind of badass. It was like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, and then it was like you could kind of be cool with Will Smith, but still kind of gay. And then there was like Limp Bizkit, Eminem.
Will Smith was the ghetto choice there, right?
Of course.
You had all these, you had all these white pop stars, but then Will Smith, there's some ghetto for you.
He's whiter than any of those pop stars, though. He's the most.
I think that's the time when Intergalactic came out from Beastie Boys, if I'm correct. Like 98, 99, maybe 2000?
98 was the album. Shit, what's that album called?
They're in the sardine can?
Yeah, shut up. Let me think. I own it.
It's not Intergalactic, right? That's the song.
No, Intergalactic's the lead single from the song, but what the fuck is the album?
Let Cole think. Cole, you fucking stupid.
Cole, goddammit.
Oh my god, why can't I think
of it either?
Step into the party, disrupt the whole scene. When Cole can't remember the meme.
I got a funny story about that. I was
sweet sour, too nice to be mean.
I had like just gotten to college, right? I'd been there like a week. We were going to buy like a dime bag of weed, right? And we had somebody knew this black guy that knew somebody, whatever. You know, that's how those times work.
And when J. wrote graffiti, his name was Spock.
Right, and we had that going, right, in the car, and we were going to the spot. And the black guy was like, I can't believe I'm in the car with these white boys listening to Beastie Boys. It was just the funniest thing in the world. Like, oh man, you like this shit. These are Beastie Boys.
And then you put the next CD in, and it's called Sabotage, and he's looking around at everybody. Sabotage.
See, as I've said many times, I'm very hip-hop illiterate. Maybe it just speaks again to my whiteness that like the rap I like is Beastie Boys, but I like the Beastie Boys. But so how are we gonna kick it down?
I want you to check out Run the Jewels. I think you may like those guys.
Okay, that's not a title. That's not a name I know of.
They're not one of my favorites, but they're awesome. I'm so glad you showed me who they are.
Because I mean that's the stuff I consider like to be good modern day rap. Like it's not all, like all hook like I was telling you with some of that other stuff. And it's not like that Gucci Gang horse shit.
And just like any movie, even in '99, they were following the law of like cars have to be super old. Like, look at that car he's in. It's like 70s minimum.
It works though, because they're like, if I can spawn whatever I want, I'm gonna spawn this like badass, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, exactly right. They all have like a certain look they want to adhere to.
Yeah. Which I think it really adds to it. It's really cool.
Yeah, it makes it stand out.
And he's wearing clothes that no one would wear in '99.
Yeah. Well, not yet. He hasn't changed yet. He's wearing pretty.
Yeah, I mean, like Morpheus and Trinity's.
Yeah, but they're like join our. Like, I mean, what would you think if you're him at this point? Like, it's some sort of like leather fetishist club has kidnapped me.
As a teenage boy or almost teenage boy, I was hoping for a nip slip. Hoping.
You're hoping for what?
A nip slip. Hoping and praying.
Yeah. See, this movie was actually kind of devoid of sex appeal for me. I wasn't into Carrie-Anne Moss, and she was really the only female character except for that blonde there.
The blonde was lesbian before lesbians were lesbian.
Well, they're both against type for lead females. They're strong
Yeah.
characters. So
Yeah, so I mean, I applaud the movie. They weren't like, oh, we just need some big kitted chick in here bouncing around to, you know. I mean, they made up for that with Monica Bellucci's fantastic rack in the second one. That's like the best thing about the second movie is Monica Bellucci's amazing cleavage.
Orc new moment of the week. I haven't seen the second or the third one in my whole life. Nope.
How did you get by without seeing those?
Just high school shit, just sports, just high school shit with every kid that every kid has to deal with.
And I wasn't even like a huge fan of the first one, but I mean, I still was going to go, obviously, because Ryan wanted to go. And I wasn't going to be like, no.
Like
But,
93 through like 2000, I saw like every movie. I mean, just because I had money and free time,
From like 98 to 2002, I saw literally everything that hit the theater for the most part. 99 to 2002.
It was later for me, really. It was more like 98 to maybe 2006, because like I was in high school, and so I wanted to like be out with friends. And then I got my driver's license, and I was going on dates with girls, and the main way to go on a date was to go to the movies. So, like, I saw a ton of movies in like 2002, 2003, a bunch that were like shit, just because it was an excuse to go on a date with my girlfriend.
But I mean, that's what you did. There wasn't things to do, especially not in this town I live in.
Yeah, no, exactly. There wasn't things to do.
Let me download this Limp Bizkit song, which I might go to jail for on Napster, which will take fucking 14 hours while I go see a movie. No, but I did kind of what Cole did. I either had a girlfriend, which wasn't too much in middle school, or what I would do is I'd round up I'd literally call like 10 kids that I knew from school, and we'd just all get like pizza or Subway and go see a movie. Every Friday night. I'd do it. Yep.
And then you rent some movies and watch those when you get home.
Oh yeah. Or and then it's Friday night, and then you stay up until dawn on Saturday.
So yeah, we did a lot of more renting in the early to midnight. I mean, we never slowed down the renting, but it just means that's how I saw movies until that bump when I started going to the movies more often. Ryan and I were always renting movies and stuff.
Yeah.
It was something to do because that was the other thing. So before we were 16 and could drive, that was a big thing. We get on our bikes and go to the video store.
Right.
That's all it was, man. Just VHSs, DVDs were slowly coming in, and then it was like maybe you'd get a game or two, and it's like who owned what system. John had this system, I had this system,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because for a while it was just like the Nintendo was out, but it was Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, N64, and then PS1 and 2, and like those were the 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
and
more
then like
the shades that don't have the what's the word?
Oh, stems, whatever this part's called.
Yeah. Exactly.
Have you seen the people that have their thing in the middle here pierced, in the middle of their eyes, and they put the glasses through there?
No, I have not.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy. It's just like that, except like it's through their piercing hole.
I guess I just stay inside the house too much, but like when I just go and
Hello Nasty? One of their albums is Hello Nasty. Was that one Hello Nasty?
I think that may have been before that.
Shit.
I feel like that's something to do with robots or some shit.
Oh yeah, because
I'll look it up, but I'm not going to tell you.
It's all about intergalactic.
Intergalactic planetary.
Boys self-titled or some shit.
No, I know it's not self-titled. It came out in '98. It was like
Beastie Boys were against rape.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
I took a bold stance there.
Oh, you're right. It is Hello Nasty.
It is Hello Nasty. Thank you. Yeah.
Damn, I never would have thought that was it.
That's like one of the only rap albums I've ever bought. Hello Nasty.
Welcome to our Beastie Boys and Matrix commentary discography.
Intergalactic, body movement, or body moving.
Yeah. The album track of Body Movement isn't as good. It's the Fatboy Slim remix that's great, and that's the one that was in the video.
Mm-hmm.
I love that body movement, A1 sound, and the sound so soothing. We be getting down, and you know what crush groove is. I don't have the voice for it. Oh, look at that, red and blue.
When
What's weird
Moby
is
did,
like how that's like re-entered pop culture now because people like talk about that now. They talk about red pill, blue pill. I think it's kind of like an alt-right thing. I can't remember. Isn't it something like alt-right
it's
people
right and
say?
left. It's their Reddit, their subreddits on Reddit. It's blue pill and red pill. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
because
it
they're just
like
like,
Nyquil or Nyquil? Like,
No,
yeah,
it's like one you'll be like you like Trump, you're a fucking faggot ass piece of shit, and the other one's like, well, stop living in your
Yeah.
mom's basement with your neck beard, you fucking piece of shit. Like
hold on.
it's just
Which one's which?
I don't know.
If you
Pretty.
take the red pill, you're like,
But yeah, look, see how devoid of hits these movies are. They're both flat as hell. This is also the first movie where I ever saw him. I always forget his name. Agliablio, the guy with the really Italian sounding name.
There's like
Joey Pants.
What?
Oh, on it,
I don't know.
right?
I don't know. Him. Yeah, that guy.
That's Joey Pants.
Pants?
Yeah, Pantalone.
Ah, yeah. Okay, Pantalone. Yeah.
That's what they call him.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting that both he and Carrie Ann Moss are both would both again be in Memento. Actually, you know what? Even as crappy as that Daredevil movie from 2003 was with Will Smith, I actually thought he was a pretty good Ben Urich. Like I didn't have any like I love the Daredevil show. It's like to me it's like almost a perfect show. I have no problem with them like casting like a black actor as Ben Urich. I thought that was fine. But the problem was they aged him. They made him a lot older, which I didn't really understand why they did that. Like they made this in the Netflix show, Ben Urich is like in his 60s or something, which is weird.
It had a black Kingpin in it too, right?
Yeah, that movie it had
That
big
huge,
guy.
yeah,
He's dead now, Michael Clark Duncan,
good call.
and he was okay. I mean, for what it was, he was okay.
Yeah, I was fine with him.
I mean, again, that movie's pretty lame.
Bullseye.
The director's cut was Bullseye's awful, Elektra's awful. So it's hard to hold the movie together. And
Have you seen the director's cut of Elektra?
I didn't know there's a director's cut of Elektra. I've watched like Elektra once. There's no way they can make that movie any good.
Well, apparently the director's cut's really good.
Director's cut completely like makes the Daredevil movie better. It even has like a whole subplot with Ludacris.
This is the shit right here that blew my mind when I saw this for the first time.
But down the rabbit hole, Alice. That hasn't been used over.
Remember seeing this in the theater, just on like even a small screen, not even a massive one.
Yeah, I remember seeing this in the theater.
Like it's all kinds of sex stuff going on here.
No, but not even that. When they zoom out, you're just like, holy fuck.
Like it looks a lot like something. It looks like Alien Resurrection. But I thought
Alien Resurrection, but they actually cared, and they were Warner Brothers and not Fox.
Because Alien Resurrection was full of stuff like that, like black tubes and weird.
Pans out. Well, it's very H.R. Geiger or Giger type.
Yeah. Okay. Here's where I'm going to piss off the Matrix fanboys. The movie kind of falls apart because of the premise. The idea that the machines would keep humans alive and put us in and go to all the effort of putting us like in a weird subconscious computer simulated world so they could use this as batteries is ridiculous. Because
in HD. Sorry, Cole.
Humans don't make good batteries. They could just make their own batteries. There's no point. They could just if they don't. They should have just they were in perfect position. They have mankind fully at their mercy. They could just kill us all off, but instead they keep us alive with barely a chance, but yes, a chance to free themselves and stuff like. It just falls apart. Like they say, they use this as batteries, but why? It's not practical.
Say maybe it's some technology that doesn't exist yet.
Sure. Yeah, the idea that they found a way to exploit humans to make they're the best batteries. But yeah, and going to the but again, why give us even like a fake world?
Yeah, I know. That's the biggest.
Like they could have like hand waved it. They could have said something like, "Oh, because it keeps your brain activity up or something, and that you keep the brain going." But they don't say anything like that. But yeah, here's the part in the movie where you're just like, what?
Yeah. God damn, all those hoses connected to his spine and shit. Oh God.
What's weird too is like he wakes up, but there's nobody there to help him. Like, why are these things Why don't they just immediately stuff him back in?
Aren't they controlling him?
Oh, I guess that's what it is. They've taken control, I guess. Now he's going up like he's in the claw game at the bowling alley. I got a Keanu Reeves.
Winner. I want a bald Keanu.
It's like, look at the.
It drops him back in the water. It's like real life. Damn it! Almost.
Gross.
I'd be like, I'm bald. Be like, yes, you're bald, but I imagine myself with a cool haircut.
Yeah.
That's okay. When we go in the Matrix, you'll have your cool haircut again. I promise.
Whoa, fuck. I know Kung Fu.
Yeah, no one says fuck in the movie, which is a little too bad.
Shaw, as if.
Why do my eyes hurt? You've never used them before. Oh!
Oh my God, that's a lot of needles. You know, it would probably be like 2 years before you could walk if you were like trapped in a container like that.
Yeah. But again, you could say maybe they have some sort of advanced technology that would speed it up, right?
Sure.
Yeah, the way surgery is now, I mean, shit evolves, but like even in 10 years, it's going to be insane. Like, it's already like robots are already like giving people fucking fake knees and shit. Nuts. And acupuncture went up hugely in the late 90s. No. Just thinking yes.
It's possible.
With the Matrix movies and all the multiple Hellraisers, which never stopped coming out and still are coming out, acupuncture was in.
I watched all the Final Destination movies recently, and
that third one is awful.
This one where this guy is getting, I think it's the last one, the fifth one. He's getting acupuncture, and something happens or whatever, and he falls off the table, and they just like stab into his chest and shit. It's like, man, you're an idiot. But
the only one I didn't see was the fourth.
That's the worst one.
There were 5, right? I've only seen the first 2.
First 2 are both pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the third.
It's such a cool premise, though. I kind of want to see them all.
You may say the third's bad, but I think 4 is worse.
I'll have to agree with you. I mean, believe you, because I haven't seen the fourth. So,
which is the one with the bridge collapsing in the trailer? Is that the 4th or the 5th one?
Fifth. The second one has the best opening. The whole highway thing. Oh, that highway thing is awesome.
Spoiler alert for everyone if you want to see this Final Destination movies. The last one is actually a prequel.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which is kind of cool. I mean, I wasn't expecting it.
Well, you ruined my whole February, asshole.
I knew nobody was going to watch that shit, so.
Nebuchadnezzar. And now we get into the part where everything has stupid names. I mean, they really amp it up in the...
I'm Tank. I'm Horn Frog, brother. What's up?
This is like every Overwatch character. I'm Turbojorn.
I mean, I get it. His name is Neo, but like, I guess
this movie made one of the best rap verses on MTV. There's a guy battling a black guy, like battling a white guy, and the white guy's like blah 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 blah, and then the black guy goes, "Dog, you look like Neo, but you're not the one." He's just like, he looks exactly like Keanu Reeves. It was the best diss. Okay, sorry. I had to throw that out.
See, why does that dude have hair? What has he done?
I don't know.
Why are all the other guys bald?
Everybody has pretty short hair. They didn't introduce long hair characters till the second one when they had those weird albinos.
Yeah. I feel like they were soaking in like a vat of like Nair. Not let their hair grow.
I've used Nair. A little weird.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, how deep does that go in? Like
all the way.
I have
it goes chin deep.
Haircut back again. I love the idea of a white void. I'd like to be in a white void. That's actually like if I believed in heaven, in a heaven. For me, a heaven would be like I would have the the usual stuff that people want from heaven, like you see your dead relatives and dead pets and stuff like that. But also, I would have a white void room where I could just be totally alone, and then I would have like a nice, comfortable couch or chair, obviously the most possibly comfortable in existence, and then
With the
I have
tube
this
TV.
with like an amazing big screen with a big screen, and with it I could watch anything. And I don't just mean all the shows. I mean anything. Like I could watch like anything that happened in human history. I could be like, I'm gonna watch Genghis Khan's like biggest battle, or I'm gonna watch.
Like my like. If
No. Here's
wish,
watch. Here's Cole. Here's Cole. He gets to so-called heaven. Watch. Look, check it out. Jesus, how Hitler actually died.
Yeah, exactly.
Like my number one wish is to like know everything.
Right. So we just like to watch like great like moments in history, see how they actually happened, and you could like decide on the camera angle. Like you could be like, okay, I'm going to watch this battle where Alexander took the city, and I can watch it movie style, or I can have the camera swing in behind one soldier and follow him and see how long he lives until he dies.
No, and then you're still fucked because it says next on Holy Pay-Per-View, and you're like, fuck, no.
I'd be like, show me the biggest orgy Rome ever had. You know.
For only $8.99 years of life.
Yeah, I could just imagine how much of history is completely bogus. You know,
Or at least completely different from the way we think it was.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
I mean, those guys like they would kill you if you told the story, you know, a way they didn't like. So,
Yeah.
and that's just what we, you know, modern history.
You know, now that we're into the early 21st century, we're gonna have to move things up because for like from like the 50s right to like the end of the 90s, like the early 21st century was always where some cataclysm happened. That's always where like some big crazy thing happened, a nuclear war or the machines rose up or whatever. It's always the early 21st century. Like I just watched Battle Angel Alita, and it was kind of the same thing.
Isn't it scary to think, though, that something is going to happen, but we just don't know it yet, though? That's terrifying.
Yeah, that's life.
No, it's not
I
life.
don't know about it if it's going to happen.
How do I know about it?
No, I said I wouldn't want to know about it.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I'm the same way.
I'd like to be a sheep, not knowing I'm about to be slaughtered.
Yeah. And that's something that they do bring up in this movie. That's kind of interesting because remember the guy Pantaleono who betrays them. He does it so he can go back in and have his memory erased because he's just like if I don't care if it's not real. And he even says ignorance is bliss. You know,
Right.
have that scene where he's eating the steak. He's like, I know none of this is real, but it's all real enough. I like it. So put me back in. I hate this fucking real world, and you kind of sympathize with him.
All this CG here is really my biggest problem with the movie.
I fucking love it in HD. I've never seen this movie in HD.
I don't think it holds up. It looks really cartoony to me.
It does, but the pan out visuals I think look awesome though. Like when he wakes up in the little sack thing and he looks down, I'm like, whoa. And I only have a 40-inch TV.
They do a lot of practical stuff that looks really good. They incorporate some CGI with practical that works really well.
My biggest problem with this movie is probably like how good the action choreography is in one moment and then how terrible it is in the other. Because it's not because they didn't have good; they had some of the best. It's because deliberate choices they made. Like you'll have some good like fighting in action, and then they're just like, well, now have some completely ridiculous, stupid-looking thing happen because we think it's cool, you know. And again, a lot of people did think it was cool, and it kind of dominated for almost the next decade as far as action scenes go.
When I think 90s CGI, though, like, of course I love Mortal Kombat, but the big three I think of are Jurassic Park, Terminator 2, and The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Easily.
I do think of the other two. I don't really think of The Matrix.
Really?
As, like, good CGI from the 90s? No, not really.
Well, yeah, that's true. But, like...
Quite a few bad ones.
Well, yeah, I mean, most of them were pretty bad. But, yeah, like, the ones that actually still hold up pretty well, yeah. Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park are definitely up there.
Go ahead. Oh, you go ahead.
Wasn't Terminator 2 91?
Yep.
It's insane that movie was 91 and Jurassic Park was 93. and how good everything looks, especially in HD now. I
Mhm.
haven't even seen them in 4K. My
I
TV's
haven't
too
either.
small.
I got the newest Blu-ray transfer. I think I own it like 3 times on Blu-ray,
Yeah.
and I mean, it looks amazing. Like
Jurassic Park.
well, both, but I was talking
Yeah.
about
Oh,
T2.
me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just you think it would not look good, with the updates, the
Mhm.
new transfers. You think it would start showing some seams, but I think it looks even better. Yeah, I've got like not the Skynet one. I mean, I have that one, but it's like I don't know, the Ultimate Governor
And
edition.
then there's the first one where they like remastered it like RoboCop and the first Terminator. That one has a good, really
I
good
own
remaster.
Terminator 1, but I don't own Terminator 2, which is kind of weird. I own Terminator 1 because I just found it cheap and was like, yeah, I should get this. It's not like a really good edition or anything like that, but it looks pretty good. It's on Blu-ray. It looks
But I
nice.
mean, even the good edition's not very expensive.
Yeah, I just haven't really seen it.
It's a good time to show this off. This is I just picked this up.
Ooh,
Oh,
nice.
the news is, I still have to watch it. Really interesting.
No, this is not the new one.
That's the original Synapse.
Oh, okay.
That's been on my wish list for a long
I
time.
finally pulled the trigger, man. I've been wanting to get it for so long, and I was like, my luck, it's going to go out of print,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to be
I
able to.
would say I'm
Well, I
jealous,
thought
but
I'd
I'm
just give
happy
it
for
the
you,
thing.
man.
Like, for years, I refused to buy the thing because I was like, nope, there's going to be better editions. So I finally got
No,
a really great edition.
Synapse does an amazing job though, because you have Tenebrae, don't you, Cole? I have that too.
Yeah, I've got Tenebrae on
Yep.
Blu-ray.
I don't have either. This is maybe the first Argento film I have on Blu-ray.
Tenebrae is the only one I have on Blu-ray, but I have a Blue Underground DVD of Bird with the Crystal Plumage.
Oh man, that
I
one's
love
very
that movie.
expensive too. I wish I had gotten that one when it was available. It goes for like hundreds of dollars now.
That's
Like,
the era
Tenebrae is
release,
a
I
lot of
think.
fun, but Tenebrae is like not nearly like it's just sort of kind of a splatter flick, whereas like Bird with the Crystal Plumage is like a real movie. Like I love them both, but like Bird with Crystal Plumage is so much better. It's my favorite giallo. I haven't seen a bunch of giallos, but I've seen a fair amount, not a lot of the most prominent ones, and that to me that's the best one.
I haven't seen the new Suspiria, but I've been dying to get that release. That's fucking awesome.
Well, that's what made me want to get this because it's been quite a few years since I've seen the original, and well, this is a 4K restoration. Is this whatever? But this thing it's got like 2 paragraphs of special features on this thing. Like, look at all that.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Like, this is like the definitive edition because he spent so much time on that transfer. I remember, it was so long. Everybody was like, "Where the hell is Suspiria on Blu-ray?" It's supposed to be a really good transfer.
That's one thing about Synapse releases. Don May does like a badass job. I mean, the CK guys suck his dick all. I mean, the Dead Pit guys suck his dick all day long, but it's actually true. I mean, he does a really, really good job at remastering.
That's one company that I have 100% confidence in buying, like that, and probably Criterion.
Yeah, and their first big release was Intruder. I love that release. Well, his release, I should say, because it's a one-man show. But yeah.
Yeah.
Here's where you can just learn stuff from discs put into your brain. Jiu-jitsu. Yeah, you're gonna learn everything. Yeah.
I still need to see a few of his movies. Like I haven't seen Stenhall Syndrome and stuff, and that had a good release. But I think Opera's my favorite. Suspiria is so good though. I don't know, it's hard to say. Oh, and then Cole got me to watch Deep Red. That one's really, really good too.
Oh yeah, Deep Red. That's another
Yeah.
great
That's,
release.
that's one of the best. Deep Red.
I was like, should I watch it? He's like, or shut the fuck up and just rent it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Synapse may have put that one out too.
Deep Red, I think, is Blue Underground. I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really good release though.
Wait, here comes the best line. Are you saying there's something wrong with his enunciation? But yeah, this whole dojo thing. So yeah, this is like a tribute to one of my favorite martial arts films, Fist of Legend. Because like the dojo they're in is basically the same thing.
See, now this is a different kind of filter. Here, everything's very clear.
Yeah,
It's not
because
grimy.
it's real. No, the green is for inside the matrix because the matrix is green tinge.
But it's like almost like a black hue to it when they're in real life.
Mm-hmm. Now he changes styles.
Watching movies like this, it just makes me so happy that there's actual good movies that are actually made in this world, and then you watch really shitty stuff like the first 15 minutes of Sharknado and you want to die. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah.
I've seen the first 15 minutes.
Keanu Reeves does throw some decent kicks here. Like, it's not a stunt guy, it's Keanu.
He is a martial artist, I think, or at least
Yeah, he is. I mean, yeah, that's why, like, you know, the fighting is so good in the John Wicks.
Yeah, man, he's a legit dude. Like, I've seen him doing like gun stuff, and he's like really talented with guns, like actual guns, not just in
Oh
movies.
yeah, for John Wick
Guy who
training.
sort
Yeah,
of
that was dope.
underused for that, who was a pretty good amateur martial artist, was John. What's his name? John. Cusack. John Cusack is actually a pretty good amateur martial artist, but he never really got to show it off in very many movies.
You know who was a good martial artist that you wouldn't think of is Craig T. Nelson.
I had no idea about that. I wish I could find footage of like Elvis doing martial arts.
Oh, that would hey, come on, baby. Come on, give me that banana sandwich, baby.
It's like Elvis was like a black belt in karate.
Oh, bullshit, he was. Yeah, he got a black belt.
Well, that's what they all said. But like I said, I haven't seen any footage to confirm it, so.
Hey, mama, come on. Throw me that front kick, mama. I could just see him like just eating and just like with the gi on. It's like, all right, here we go.
Remember, there was a part of his life.
All right, there was my belt.
I realized that by the 70s he was like that, but before that he was a healthy guy in good shape. I mean, yeah, Elvis had quite the downward spiral where he got all fat and, well...
Dude, he's my hero. I don't even sit on the toilet anymore. I'll admit it. Dude, he died on the throne. What a fucking savage. What a beast.
You know, it was all those opiates that made him constipated as hell.
Elvis was the king. Eating all his fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Hey, that was a nice jab right there, and I'm all shook up. Yeah.
Oh, come on, my daddy. Here comes Big E. All right, here we go.
You really want me to break that piece of wood?
Let me break those boards there. All right, where's my belt?
I mean, his Kia would be like the best in martial arts because a lot of people, you know, they say you have to Kia, you have to have a huh. So hell, his would be the best. Like, yeah, come on, yeah. They do a good soundbite of it on The Simpsons where Bart and Lisa write that episode of Itchy and Scratchy, and it ends with the whole thing of him like shooting the TV, like which he did in real life. This show ain't no good. Yeah, when he shoots the TV.
Here's how it would be. Thank you very much.
I love Elvis, man. Like he's the king. I mean, they've called other people the king since, and I don't believe in it. I think they called LeBron James the king. Like, fuck off. Elvis is the king.
Jordan is the king.
Yeah, if you're gonna say the context of basketball, yeah, Jordan would be the king.
What's weird though is like everyone talks about Babe Ruth, but like baseball and football don't really have it though. And one's the newest sport, and one's the oldest, besides boxing and wrestling.
I think
But
it's because
hockey-
of the way like positions work.
But hockey and basketball, like we've talked about, it's just Gretzky, Jordan, and then the other one. But there should be like, I mean, I guess you could say Brady, but then there's Montana, and then there's Walter Payton. Barry Sanders would have been arguably pretty much the best if he didn't quit, but someone told me who like kind of knew his family why he did quit, and I forgot what it was, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I know I don't know enough, but like it's sort of a positional thing, right? Like who is the best defensive end of all time? Like who are they? How high would they rank as best football player of all time? Not high at all, right? Because they'd be like, that's not really that important. Like a
Right.
quarterback's important, or the guys that do the running it in, the running back or whatever that score the touchdowns.
Yeah,
They play an
there's quarterback, receiver, and running back, like you're saying. Yeah, so 3 positions. Yeah.
So there's like no catcher. You could be the best catcher in baseball, and it's important, but you're not gonna rank that high.
Well, baseball geeks would know you're the best, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm a baseball nerd. I'm a pretty big
comes
baseball
down
nerd.
to
Let's go
I mean,
Sox.
who
Let's go
who
Red
is the best
Sox.
baseball player? I mean, but I mean that's one of the reasons why, like, actually, again, I don't know a lot about baseball, but why Babe Ruth does stand out is because he was actually a dominant pitcher too, and nobody since him has existed. There hasn't been a guy that had the same combination of dominant hitting and dominant pitching. He's unique in that aspect.
Yeah, I
What's
mean, I think it's
insane
really I think it's a matter of like the strength of the competition.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. A lot of people say, oh, Babe Ruth wouldn't be that good if, black players had actually been allowed to play back then.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
What's fucking nuts though, if you think about like all sports and stuff, and as we go on our Matrix commentary journey here, wrestling was the first, old Olympian Greco-Roman times, then boxing, and then baseball is like the third big sport that's still played today for the most part. And baseball started in 1846. That's
I know,
fucking nuts.
yeah, baseball's old as hell.
I mean, I think the way you judge the best is who had a candy bar named after them.
Yep.
It's the Babe. I like these little Matrix lessons.
Get out of my way, Shaw.
Watch out for that woman in red. The only sexy woman in the movie.
Robert Patrick cameo. Great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Lady in red.
Was that really Robert Patrick?
No, I just fucking made that.
Oh. I guess that's why I forgot, because it's not
Those
real.
are the same aviators that he wears, though. So
Yeah, so it's like an homage.
First time I saw this film, some friends of mine, they had already seen it the week before. I guess I saw it the second week it came out, Friday night. And they had decided they wanted to take LSD and watch it. So that was a fun time.
and what'd you have on your pizza?
I did
before
watch
bed?
this movie on mushrooms in 2001. Like, it was like the week after Frosh Week. And yeah, it was the first movie I saw at the Oxford, which is just what's gone now, but it was just sort of down the road from there. So yeah, we did the movie. It was like they're showing The Matrix. Yeah. So that's like the only movie I've ever seen, really. I mean, I saw a few movies when I was high, but I can't. People like to pretend like that makes it different, but it doesn't. It just makes it harder to pay attention. Honestly, if you really want to see a movie, don't get high and watch it, because then you just find your mind drifting and you're not really interested in the movie. At least that's how it worked for me. Because people like to act like, oh, if you're high on like marijuana, like you're gonna hallucinate, and like, no, you're not.
No, yeah. No, I saw. I had some of the best times of my life in the theater when I was high, like watching. What's the Dave Chappelle one? Jim Brewer.
Half Baked.
Half Baked.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, it's fitting to watch that movie high, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's the best ice cream, in my opinion. Yep.
Oh, is that like is that cookie dough? Because that's my favorite ice cream.
That would be chocolate and vanilla swirl with cookie dough bites and brownies. Half Baked. The shit.
Well, that goes right to your ass, doesn't it?
It goes, not anymore. It used to. Not anymore. It goes through quick, though. Yeah, it does. Holy shit.
Nice.
Here on this show, you can learn about ice creams, discographies, filmography, what you would do if you went to heaven, and don't go to hell. It's amazing. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Whoop, whoop.
Too much of heaven and bring you underground. Eiffel 65. That was like this time, too. I'm blue, I'm blee, I'm blam, I'm all green, I would die, and then I would get my tie-dye.
That's like the worst thing that ever happened in 1999.
But those goddamn kids in your class, in your graduating class, would all fucking bring that goddamn CD in. Why'd you buy this, dude? Snoop Dogg just released his new album on No Limit. The fuck?
For fuck's sake, around the time I was graduating, they had that goddamn Vitamin C song. Remember that?
Can I get a
before
sample?
graduation, you know, as we go, where we
Oh, God.
Oh god.
It's just a ripoff of Pachelbel's Canon, but it's like
Hey, they get shit on now and they can't go back to their home turf, but Time of Your Life. Good song.
Green
yeah,
Day?
yeah. That was for when I graduated junior high, but yeah, everybody was all wistful.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
That was what they played when I graduated high school.
I'd still listen to that right now on Spotify.
That's what they played for like that Seinfeld thing too.
Yeah.
When Seinfeld was ending, they played that.
They played a bunch of stuff. They played some Michael Jackson songs in that too.
Something unpredictable.
Don't stop till you get enough.
Right. I hope you had the time of your life.
When you have like $20 in your bank account and Don't Stop Till You Get Enough is playing on like the sound system
I hate
where the
that
ATM
song.
is, that's the best shit. I'm like, yeah.
I like a lot of Michael Jackson songs, like most people, but he actually has several I hate, and that might be at the top of the list. Fuck, I hate that song.
Do you
Really?
like Man in the Mirror?
And it's like
That's one of my-
7.5 minutes long. It doesn't end. It goes on for fucking ever. He sounds like a toy that a dog chews on. Like, he has a great voice, obviously, he's Michael Jackson, but in that song, he sounds like he's, like, doing a terrible parody of himself, like, mocking himself.
Cole, it doesn't matter if you're black or Canadian.
They're black Canadians. They're called, what are they called? Afro-Canadians.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
They're not clunky like African-American. They're Afro-Canadians.
Black or White was the song I was referencing, though. I don't know if you caught it.
Be my brother, it don't matter if you're black or white, but fuck all the other.
That was the album when he started grabbing his dick and everybody quit liking him.
Yeah.
And I mean, then he raped a bunch of children, so people really didn't like
Well,
him.
he had a Ferris wheel, so, I mean, it was unfair. He had a head start.
Come and look at my zoo and drink some wine out of these Coca-Cola
You want to
cans.
hear the best Michael Jackson stories? Watch Chris Tucker's last stand-up. The one he hadn't done one in a long time. That's on Netflix.
Chris
And he
Tucker's the
would
reason why I know that song, because in like the second or third Rush Hour, he starts singing in karaoke. I'm pretty sure that was the first time I actually heard that song, luckily.
But he'd talk about going to Michael Jackson's house, like his Neverland Ranch, and he'd be like, Chris, just stop talking. You're embarrassing everybody. Chris, just shh, just be quiet. He's like sitting on like Michael Jackson's like 20-person leather couch in his fucking mansion. And this is when Chris Tucker's like not as famous as he is, obviously now, like mid-90s. So it's like, Chris, just be quiet, please.
The only thing I remember is he said that he saw him and like Barry Gibb sing a Bee Gees song together. Like,
Man, that would be like who can hit the higher notes.
yeah, exactly, right? They were doing How Deep Is Your Love, right? So it's like, 'cause you're living in a world of love. Oh, here he is. He's talking about how much the Matrix is awesome and the real world sucks, and he's right.
Is he a savage? That's what his piece of steak looks like.
Yeah, that's pretty rare.
No, I mean it's all like it's like he cut it with a spoon.
Ignorance is bliss. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, this guy plays a good asshole.
Yeah.
He's an asshole in like everything. I think he was even in The Sopranos.
Oh yeah.
He got like his head chopped off or something. Oh, spoiler alert.
It's okay. I don't watch past the pilot. I'm still on episode 4 of The Wire.
You know, someone important, like an actor, like Joe Pantaleone. His
When
dream
guys
is to
have like soul patches that grow way too long, like in 2019, it just kind of pisses me off. I don't want to punch them in the face.
I don't do it on purpose. I just kind of forget about it.
No, you got like baby fuzz. He's got like like this shit, like right here.
Oh yeah, well that's like cultivated.
When you see
like
some
that.
guy, he's like, I own a nightclub and I get my dick sucked every 5 hours. I was like, oh God, fucking kill me.
Like either you're a pirate or like
You're a pirate.
I don't know who else can get away with that.
You're a Johnny Depp fucking stunt guy standing.
He's a musketeer.
Yeah.
Like what D'Artagnan would be rocking.
Oh God.
That is not Quaker Oats. Can we all confirm?
This guy's just been dying for somebody new to have these annoying conversations with.
I thought
So
it was a
that's me
woman.
in the Matrix, pretty much.
I don't think. Yeah, you have your own things to talk about, but not this. Although I know, yes, you love to talk about food.
Cole, okay, I'm repping the Canadian flag right here, but come on, you like McDonald's too?
I'm just
Just because
saying.
just because you're anorexic, Cole. Okay, all right.
Putting meat on my bones.
Yeah, what I want to see Pumping Iron Cole edition. Go with Raiho to the gym. Start fucking.
I've got noodle arms. In March I'm hoping to go back to my martial arts and stuff. So I've just been doing some like light exercises at home and stuff, and like I do like 15 push-ups, and like my body's screaming at me. My noodle arms.
Cole, have you ever done bench press? I have to know what your bench is. I don't want to be one of those guys, but I have to be right now.
I've never done weight training.
What's
Can
your
you bench the
bench?
bar?
What?
Can you bench the bar? Just the bar?
Oh yeah.
Bench.
I'm really good at pull-ups though. I do.
I've only been able to do 2 pull-ups my whole life. That's it. But when I could do a lot of push-ups, I could do 60.
Yeah, it's weird. I suck at push-ups, but I'm good at pull-ups.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. How many pull-ups can you do?
Well, I don't know now. It's because it's been so long since I've even had the opportunity to. But I can.
Okay, high school.
Like 30 maybe.
30? Damn.
Yeah.
That's
But
good.
I think the reason is with the push-up, it engages the shoulder, because that's always what really starts to give out on me when I'm doing push-ups. Because even when I'm like in better shape and doing more, it's the shoulder that really starts to go for me. Because I mean, right now I'm terrible. I do 15 and I die. But I mean, when I was in shape, I could probably do close to 50.
Stop breathing so goddamn hard. What's wrong with you?
Oh, I thought that was you for a second. I was like, damn, Jay.
I'm snoring. Shut up. What the fuck's wrong with your nose?
I love boxers' faces. They're just like, kill me, please. Just fucking kill me.
My companion's nice and quiet. Yeah.
Cole always has his pussy in control. I love it.
Good companion. Yeah. Oh, big yawners. Yeah.
How does he treat the women in his life? Exactly the same. He feeds them when they need to be fed.
Really good noodles. So he was. Oh, yeah. Wait a second. Oh, here's the part of the movie I don't like. He's going to go see the Oracle. I hate this shit.
Cole, but it is not the leaf that bends. 'Tis your country.
Yeah, I really feel like it kind of lost some steam at this point with me, especially on multiple viewings.
It's just the beginning. It's our entrance into like a world full of stupid names and stupid titles for people that they really go crazy with in the sequels. It's like, you're the one, that's the Oracle, this is the Gatekeeper, and that's Zool.
Yeah, Zool, I was going to say that too.
I know it's all this. And here's a and also there's like a quote here that like, yeah, you ever I mean, there's all sorts of quotes in movies that like we understand why people quote them. You know, maybe they're clever or they're fun and stuff.
Right.
But every once in a while, a movie comes along and people quote something from it, and it's stupid as hell, and yet it really catches on. And this is it. There is no spoon. Oh my god, I hated people who go, "There is no spoon." Fuck off.
Yeah.
I guess they think that's like a really zen thing or something, right?
I like the bend part better. I thought that was always cooler.
Well, yeah, bending a spoon is a neat idea. That's always been sort of a thing.
Tis not the spoon that bends, but it is yourself. I was just sitting there like with a big bucket of popcorn. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Plus, the actress that plays her died, and they had to recast for the sequels.
Oh, the old lady?
Yeah. If you love people in leather coats in grimy hallways, this movie is for you.
Remember how much Morpheus's sunglasses were going for in the mall? They were like $300, $400. Fucking insane.
I said the late '90s was when really the whole, movies like selling stuff kicked in. The first time I really noticed it was a couple years before this with Tomorrow Never Dies. Like in Tomorrow Never Dies, there was just like commercial after commercial. It's like, be like Bond, use his aftershave, and like all this stuff.
Oh, it was like a watch or some shit. It was like all sorts of products out of that movie.
And then the Star Wars, the first prequel, just shit on everybody. Trading cards, fast food restaurants, clothing, everything.
Well, yeah,
I think
but
I
that
had
was,
all those Topps trading cards, every fucking one.
well, I mean, Star Wars is the king of merchandising, but I mean, I'm talking about like product placement in movies.
I've had it with them. I've had it with you. I've had it with all this. I want room service. I want the club sandwich. I want the cold Mexican beer. I want a $10,000 a night hooker. I want my shirts laundered like they do at the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo.
Which movie's that?
Johnny Mnemonic.
Oh, no wonder I didn't know.
I was trying to remember the quote the other night, and that's
my favorite,
The only thing I remember about that movie is like, well, not disappointment because I didn't expect it to be good, but also just sort of, I don't know, bland indifference. Probably because I was like, I didn't expect it to be good, but it's even worse than I thought.
You don't remember the fucking like telekinetic dolphin?
I don't remember anything. I remember the Dolph Lundgren's in it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't help. And that's a really sad thing to acknowledge.
That's why I love Wayne's World, the first one, when they're doing like, sponsors and stuff. I will not bow to any sponsors.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Pepsi.
It's like people only do things for money. And that's just really sad.
Oh, that's funny.
I watch that clip like once a month, just every now and then. I fucking love it.
I was going to pull it up.
It's the choice. Yeah, and the choice of a younger generation.
And here's this whole, like, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to do that thing that's been, like, beaten to death with, like, psychics in movies. Don't worry about the vase. What vase? Oh, there it is.
Oh.
I do like the set design and the colors and stuff here. I think it's really cool, really interesting. What does the green symbolize? Because, earlier before they did the Kung Fu training, Morpheus was wearing a green tie.
Green's just everything in the movie. Green is the Matrix, right? That's what it is on the screen.
It just means the Matrix?
Yeah, that's like everything in the Matrix is just super green. Like, it's like shot through a green filter. Green is everywhere.
Because I felt like he was about to sell me some avocados or something.
Holy Christ. Like, I don't know how... So it snowed today, but not a lot. But, like, there is such wind outside that it's blowing the snow off my building in waves. So when I look outside, it looks like a fucking typhoon.
Wow.
Fucking Kennedy.
But, I mean, it's finally warmed up a bit. Like, the last few days were some of the coldest days of the year. It was, like, -9 when I went out the other day, but it was, like, -25 at the wind chill.
Yeah, it's fucking dope when you have to go to bed with a Columbia jacket on, zipped up all the fucking way. It's awesome. I love it.
I have a very toasty warm apartment. Look at me, I'm in shorts and t-shirt.
Fuck you.
I have a good toasty warm apartment. I mean, the heat broke back in the fall, but they fixed it, and they fixed it up good. So yeah, once I come in, I'm fine.
But they really
Yeah.
went with a certain look with this set, like 70s, the green.
Yeah, I
70s
think they were just trying to like give it like a very authentic, this is a real place type thing, even though we all know it's not real. Like it's in the Matrix, but she specifically tries to make it very homey or whatever.
her clothes and that backsplash, even the cup she was using to drink out of.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Like it's all supposed to like evoke, something very authentic. Because the whole point is it's not.
Right. I mean, I think they get credit for doing things that they just thought was cool. It's like it wasn't really a deliberate choice, and people go around and backpedal and say, "Oh, this is symbolic of this," or this, they did
Yeah.
that for this reason.
Yeah. I mean, the Wachowskis have very good visual flair.
Right. I mean, that's
Their movies look fantastic.
right.
You know what movie I own that nobody cares about and I guess thought was too convoluted or too ambitious that I really like is I can't think of what it's called, but it's the one they did a few years ago.
The one with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Cloud Atlas.
Cloud Atlas.
I haven't seen it. Is it good?
I love it, man.
Do you?
Yeah. I guess it's a long movie and it jumps around because the whole point is it's different time. It's different storylines taking place at different points in history, and the whole point is how they are all sort of linked and stuff.
Spoiler.
Yeah. No, not really. But yeah, like the Tom Hanks part is the far future. Like it's super far future, and civilization's wiped out, and everybody's like living like friggin' cave people again. Practically, it's like, or at least like, or actually, it's a lot like Waterworld in a way. Anyway, but then there's other stories that go throughout history. There's somebody like there's a ship that has like it's carrying slaves like in the 19th century. There's a reporter in the 1970s. There's a neo soul in like sometime like the 22nd century in Korea, like a futuristic Korea and stuff like.
Yeah, isn't it like Tom Hanks, Lucy Liu, and like Halle Berry?
Yeah,
playing most of the roles.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, and the same actors play roles like throughout history with the same actor and stuff, and they do a really good job. And actually, it's one of the best things like Hugh Grant's ever done. He's in there, and he plays different roles and stuff. Yeah, like they're all playing like different roles.
Yeah, you're not the first person I've heard that says it's a good movie. It was a few films around that period of time that just I don't know. I was just kind of.
Yeah, but there was some white actor they like Asianed up for one of the roles, so some people were upset about that.
What else have they done? Directorial wise,
yeah, they did that.
They did the Speed Racer movie, which is
right.
pretty fun to look at. I mean, it's not really a good. It's super fun to look at. It's also too long. I mean, I don't think Cloud Atlas is too long, but why would Speed Racer need to be like 2.5 hours long?
I haven't seen any of this stuff, man. Like they did Speed Racer, Cloud Atlas, Jupiter Ascending.
Jupiter Ascending, don't bother. Like it's such a chore. I watched about 20 minutes of it. It's awful. But the other two, totally, you should watch.
Okay.
I mean, if nothing else, like the visuals and the colors, it's of Speed Racer is fantastic. Like it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's like the last thing Emil Hirsch ever did.
Yeah, I remember talking about it like a few months ago because he was like on the precipice of maybe being like a leading man type, and nope, he's gone. That was also when that guy, like I know now, but I wouldn't have known back then because I don't watch TV. But there was this actor named Matthew Fox who was on a show called Lost. So people love that. Suddenly Matthew Fox popped up in movies for like 5 seconds and they're like, okay, he's not really a movie star, go away. Which happens a lot with popular TV actors, right? They're like popular in TV and they're like, oh, they should be in movies. And it's like, oh, no one actually cares. Matthew Fox is kind of one of those guys. He's in Speed Racer.
I was thinking wasn't he the guy that was in Party 5? He was like the oldest brother.
I don't know those shows. It's possible. For all I know is that he got really popular from Lost.
I just know that one brother, his real name was Matthew Fox. The other one's name was Scott Wolf. I thought that was kind of cool.
Huh. I never heard of Scott Wolf. All right, the movie's back on track again. This is kind
Scott
of
Wolf
cool.
was in the Double Dragon movie with the Iron Chef guy.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I would love to do Double Dragon. That's like one of my favorite terrible movies of the 90s.
Today's special ingredient is squid. You ever seen Iron Chef?
I know what it is.
You know, he always does like the craziest like O face when he's like
Uh,
showing.
yeah, the annoying guy is dead. Hooray!
Damn it! They got mouse.
Well, since I'm the food guy, Iron Chef and Iron Chef America were both fucking amazing. Masterpieces of television.
I liked it before the American one.
Oh, what are you, an Iron Chef hipster? Fuck you.
I liked it back when I could stick my finger out and listen to vinyl, bro.
I
I
like
was
Gordon
watching Iron
Ramsay.
Chef before it was cool, man.
I like Gordon Ramsay before he was a kitchen nightmare, bitch. It's fucking raw.
I hate Gordon Ramsay so much.
He's,
I just can't respect somebody like that, man. Like, I know that in those shows they show how nice he can be, but it's just not professional. You know, it's unprofessional to treat people.
Well, they interview him at his mansion, and he just says, "No, I don't let my kids watch the show," or something. He says, "I literally only do it for the money. That's all I do it for."
I mean, that's his shtick. So I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, and it keeps feeding this culture that we live in now, where like, you know, decency and decorum and manners like don't matter at all. It's all be as loud and stupid as you want because that's what people like and respond to. I mean, you see it everywhere. Conor McGregor, Trump, whatever. Like that's what
Sausage Factory with Orc.
And Gordon Ramsay's a big fucking part of it and drives me nuts. Because he's just saying like, and they also say like it's fun to be rude to people. Like that's your reward for being rich and successful. Hey, if you're rich and successful, you can be really rude to people, as if we're all assholes. If I was rich and successful, I wouldn't be like, hey, I can be a complete cunt now. Like, but apparently it just shows like how many assholes there are. Because like to them, that's a big perk. Hey, I'm rich and successful, so I can get away with like treating people like shit because that's fun for me. Like that, I can't believe. Like I don't know. I just have a hard time even wrapping my brain around being that kind of person. But yeah, it's fun for Gordon Ramsay because he knows that people can get away with it.
Do you guys remember like when television started to have a lot of that beeping? Like they would beep out the cuss words or whatever, curse words. Like I remember before that, and then it's almost like they encouraged them to curse. Like, you know, reality TV too, but I'm talking about like actual television shows would do it.
Well, I just remember for a long time they just couldn't have cursing at all.
Right, but they encouraged it. They would just beep it out. And so it's like really, it's really annoying for one. But
yeah, good shooting there, Dex. Yeah, I forgot about this.
Oh yeah,
you can take people over. So that's another fun thing about being in the. So how come he can take them over, but not? Oh, because they're unplugged, right? If you're plugged, yeah. If as long as you're plugged in, like a program, who are the agents of Aurorians, can just take you over.
Get your fat ass off of me, Larry.
So this is a good fight. This is one of the better parts of the movie for me. Is Morpheus in this fight here? Like he loses, but he puts up a good fight.
Like everything that Lawrence Fishburne did after this, he always had a big cut.
Yeah.
He reminds me of
totally like to typecast him though. You know, sometimes you play a role so well that like suddenly that's like all people see you as. That's kind of what happened with Morpheus here. It's like he's gonna be like the cool, aloof guy that has like the answers, you know.
And then he shows up in Predators, and I'm like, holy shit! And I almost spit up my Coke Zero.
That's actually a pretty different role for him because he's a guy that's like gone out of his mind in Predators.
I don't know. That movie's got so many problems.
Yeah,
he's not really one of them. Adrian Brody, I think, is the biggest problem in that movie.
I understand that completely, but it doesn't bother me the way it should. Because, I mean, I get it. It's Adrian Brody trying to be a tough guy, putting on his tough guy voice, and it's not very believable. And yet I'm just more amused by it than annoyed, I guess. I love this dirty bathroom fight. Oh, head off the toilet. That's always a great move. You see that in a lot of movies where the guy falls and smashes his head off a toilet.
Yeah. Or
I mean,
take the lid off.
Yeah,
Smack the lid off
because
or
I
something.
mean, and this, but at least in this, it makes sense because the whole point is like these people that are unplugged are able to break some of the rules, so it makes them kind of superhuman. But in other movies, they don't have that. So, like, if you get your head smacked off a toilet so hard it breaks, you're dead.
Yeah, what's harder, your skull or the porcelain?
Yeah, I
The
mean,
toilet.
go tap your toilet and see how hard it is.
Yeah, go tap your toilet with your head and see what happens.
Oh, that seems so racist.
Oh.
Just hot
it took me a second. It took me a
Yeah.
second.
Can't we all get along? Come on. Don't do it to him.
A lot of people think about certain things when they watch this movie, and like the ending's a big part that a lot of people remember. The whole movie's memorable, but whenever I see Morpheus, it's not even the pill thing. It's when the bullets start hitting the floor and his head starts shaking in the chair when he jumps. Like that's like the moment for me. The bullets are hitting the floor and they're shooting out of the helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
Or I think it's Trinity,
probably
right? Yeah.
the dojo going.
Yeah.
I think it's like when he first.
What he says, "Stop trying to hit me and hit me."
Yeah.
For me, it's like when they first pull him out of the Matrix. That was the like oh shit moment when it like all hit, and I figured out what was going on. It was so powerful to me.
But like when he's captured and his head starts shaking and he's got those like sensors on his head and the bullets are raining down out of the fucking helicopter like Vietnam style, I was like, oh yeah.
I was like, dude, what if we're in the Matrix right now? Who would know?
That's another thing I don't like about the movie, which is not fair for the movie, is because I had to like endure like that for several years.
I'm still like that.
Oh, you're the most annoying kind of person that exists.
No, I mean, but I mean, really, it brought me to a place that I hadn't thought of before, and call it ignorance or youth or whatever. But it was really enlightening for me in that regard.
It's not the first movie I've seen where people find out the world there isn't real, though.
And I told you I'd seen Dark City in the theater, before this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I wasn't even thinking of that because, as I've said, I had no idea Dark City existed until even a few years after this movie because it just didn't seem to have any presence at all, which is too bad because I would have loved to have seen it in theater. Although the director's cut is better than the theatrical cut.
We're all in the Matrix right now, bro.
How do you know?
This movie was great, but my favorite movie in '99 was Bride of Chucky, I think.
That was 98.
Oh, damn. Okay. I get the cheater here. Fuck it.
98 had some of the worst movies of the decade, man.
Halloween H2O. Yeah.
And I saw a few of them in theaters. The big one.
Wasn't Saving Private Ryan 98, though?
Oh, that's one of the best movies of 98.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I saw in theaters Lost in Space.
Oh, me too. Good God.
I did as well. Yep.
Wow.
And it was my friend's fault, too. Like, I was with a few friends. Ryan was there again. And we were going to... I don't even remember what we were going to see. But I have two friends, Ryan. And the other Ryan, the one you guys don't know, he was like, I don't want to see that. And we were like, oh, we all thought we were going to go see that. He's like, I never said that. And they're like, what are you going to see? And he's just like, oh, Lost in Space. And they're like, you're just going to go alone? And I said, I'll go with him.
Oh, man.
Huge mistake.
Listen to some of the shit that came out this year. The Avengers.
I saw that in theaters.
Wow.
Was the first Rush Hour 98?
Yeah,
I know Blade was 98 because that's my go-to.
Yeah, they're both pretty good, but I'm trying to think of awful ones. And those are the two big awful ones I saw in theaters. I saw The Avengers and Lost in Space. Oh my fucking God.
Mummy was 99.
Go, sometimes you see a movie like when you're younger or whatever, it's okay at the time, but even back,
Godzilla, the greatest movie of all time, right?
I still think it's better than the new one. I didn't see that in theater though. But yeah.
Opening night.
Hang on, though. You're talking about marketing. Batman Forever and Godzilla. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Remember the marketing schemes?
But I mean, watching both Lost in Space and The Avengers, like even in the theater as I'm watching, I'm just horrified by how awful they are. Like so fucking terrible. Speaking of actors that were like popular on TV, tried to have a movie career, fucking Lost in Space had goddamn Matt LeBlanc. They're like,
Joey
yeah,
Tribbiani.
he'll be a big movie star. And, no.
What about 54?
The first time you find out like she's not American because she has like some kind of Eastern European accent because that's the first time she talks and then she dies.
I'm sure you're a big fan of 54.
Don't like it. No. It's a really icky movie. Gross. Makes you feel unclean.
Mike Myers plays a gay coke addict. He's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I know the movie. Actually, on my Netflix right now, there's a big documentary about 54.
Really? Not the movie.
No, the club.
Oh, okay. And I haven't even seen it. I was working at the theater when it was on. I didn't even watch it.
The movie?
I haven't seen it. I've just seen the scene with Mike Myers talking about doing coke and fucking young boys.
Yeah, there's a part where like he's hitting, who is it? Ryan Phillippe. Yeah, it's Ryan Phillippe.
Oh man.
And like I think through the whole thing, like Ryan Phillippe somehow doesn't even realize he's gay. And he just looks at him and like Mike Myers puts on like this weird smile, like, and he goes, "I want to suck your cock," or something like that. And you're like, whoa.
I remember that in the trailer or something. I don't know, something.
I don't think that's in the trailer, dude.
No, I just remember seeing it. So maybe it was on pay-per-view or something.
That was in
but
the trailer. I would have no reason to go watch it. I mean, that's the best part.
What years were the first two Screams? 95 and 97?
96 and 97.
96 and 97.
What was Scream 95? I think it's 96, right? Scream's 96.
I think you're right, but I always think it's 95.
Scream's 96.
96.
There's one thing I know, it's movie dates. It's pretty hard to stump me. Even for movies I haven't seen, I pretty much know the year.
Let's go over some more stinkers from 98.
Oh, okay. In his long oeuvre of horrible movies, so it's kind of unfair, but Steven Seagal might have made his worst movie that was at least not a straight-to-video, and it was called, I always get it mixed up. It's not On Deadly Ground, it's the other one. Whatever it was that came out in 98. Anyway, it's this movie, and it's the most boring piece of shit you'll ever see. See, unlike his other movies, which are just ridiculous because of, horrible writing, horrible acting, horrible fighting, this movie just has literally nothing happening in it. So it's like there's some sort of like outbreak on a military base of some sort of virus, and he's some sort of like weird guy that's also like, I don't know what his job is, but he's also like a part-time doctor, and I don't know, and he's trying to like cure it. And literally, like he might like punch or throw somebody like once in the movie. The rest, I swear, is him like injecting soldiers and then frowning and watching them die as he fails to save them.
Whoa, Steven Seagal?
Yeah, Steven Seagal. And it was
not like Glimmer Man or some shit.
It wasn't Glimmer Man. No, this came out. It was the one that came out in '98. So look up Steven Seagal for '98.
It'll be on this list. But My Giant. Remember that?
I remember. I know what it is. I've never seen it.
Billy Crystal and a giant person.
And
oh yeah, that was an interesting movie. Yeah,
Andre the Giant, right? Andre the Giant. I'm going to die.
No, he just has a huge friend.
Yeah, he wanted to do it because he in real life he was friends with Andre the Giant. Was Andre the Giant already dead at this point? Maybe. Because Billy Crystal and him were in The Princess Bride together, and they hit it off, and they became really good friends. And yeah, he made that. He wanted him to be in it with him, but I guess he died.
Speaking of Crystal, though, it came out I think later, 99 or 2000. But the baseball movie he did, I think about Mickey Mantle, that was really good.
It's The Patriot, by the way, not the Mel Gibson one. In 1998, there was a Seagal movie called The Patriot, and it is the most crushingly boring movie you'll ever see. Which is, bad enough, but it's so weird because, Steven Seagal's a terrible action star. But you don't even get shitty, stupid action you can laugh at. It's just so dull.
I think I saw that once, like 21 years ago. They all blend in, though.
But anyway, you won't be able to get through it. Like, there's no way. I don't know how I watched it start to finish, but I did. I didn't see it in theater, but I mean, that might be, to me, that might be the worst movie of '98. And of course, Pi came out in '98, and I hate Pi.
I can't say that's the worst movie. Come on, we're talking about My Giant here.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure The Patriot is worse.
About the Psycho remake.
That's more bland, bad. Like, I don't think it's bad. I just think it's pointless.
I didn't see Psycho till like 13 years after I saw the Psycho remake because I was so young. I was only 10 when I saw the Psycho remake. So yeah.
I mean, what does the Psycho remake add? Like, where it's implied that he masturbates, they're like, yes, he masturbates. You get to see Vince Vaughn making a funny face going, it's like, oh, that's great.
That's when you know people collect way too much shit. Bro, if you want to collect shit and you got tons of money and you buy every Scream Factory release, go for it. But when like they're like the Psycho remake is coming out and it's got all these special features, I'm like, why in the world would you ever? That would be like the last thing I'd buy.
Well, I like that for like most of this shit. Like there were all these.
Yeah.
I was on Fiz's live stream last night, and a lot of them were asking. People were asking him questions and stuff like that, and they're like, "Hey, here's this shit movie from 1986 that no one ever cared about. It's getting its Blu-ray release. Are you gonna buy it?" I'm like, "Why the fuck would you buy it?" Like, you're talking about like Critters and like all this.
I love Critters.
Why? What is
I
there
think
to
it's a good movie.
No, I hear what you're saying. Half of the shit, I'm like, all right, that's awesome. Like Suspiria, Candyman, you know, good stuff. I'll take Jay's side with Critters, but like a lot of it's like, you know, like I can't even remember some of the fucking stupid names. A lot of it's shit I've never even heard of till like it gets a release. It's like Vinegar Crack Syndrome is putting out Beetlejuice 57 Studio 54, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then there's always a guy in chat, he's like, I love that movie. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck this is. What are you talking about, man?
What's hilarious is there was this one guy who had a really no, he was called Alan Scott. I kept calling him Green Lantern, and nobody seemed to understand why. And he every like 5 minutes he would pose like a super long question that was posed as like a strange, super detailed hypothetical situation. Like for one of them, he's like he said something like solar flares or something is going to cause like damage that's going to destroy all technology on Earth. So you can save 5 DVDs. What would you save? Like it's weird shit like that. He had like 4 of them, like really bizarre.
They're all like death scenarios, but
yeah.
5 Digimon fight 5 Pokemon. Which ones would you have on your team?
All right, the
Might be
polar
watching-
ice caps melt. Right, what DVDs would you save?
Yeah. They were even more detailed. Stuff like that.
A giant asteroid.
I'd save artificial intelligence.
I would save Joe versus the volcano.
The day after tomorrow.
I would just save all movies about volcanoes. Joe
Yeah, I would only.
Dante's Peak, Volcano. Just save all the volcano movies.
All the great volcano movies.
That's what posterity needs.
Hey, Dante's Peak is awesome. Fuck you guys. I love that movie.
Here's this conversation with him about how he's a virus.
It's like if you're going to a desert island, what food would you bring with you? Like coconuts, man. Fuck yeah, I'd bring a ton of coconuts.
We are mammals, Agent Smith. You say that we're not mammals. Like, this is some really strange reasoning.
I hate his way of talking, too. His speech
Mr.
pattern.
Anderson. Well, it's supposed to be grating, right? Like, that's the whole point.
It works.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Like, he should... I thought he was an okay villain, but to stretch it out so that he's in, like, all 3 movies is ridiculous. Like, I never understood why he became such a popular villain. And again, I'm a big Hugo Weaving fan. I think he's a great, great actor.
You know what his best movie is? The Wolfman remake. Oh, yeah.
He's underused in that movie. Like, I wish he had more scenes. He's like the cop that's chasing him. I actually kind of like that movie. Except it's too bad, though, because most of the people are just sleepwalking through it. Like Benicio del Toro's the lead, and he looks like he does not care at all.
Anthony fucking Hopkins is in that movie.
He doesn't care either.
I mean, that's a pretty all-star cast. Just those 2 guys.
Yeah, I guess the main reason I like the movie is because my bar is really low for werewolf movies because I feel like werewolf movies are poor. And my big problem, I've said a lot of times, is like unlike say vampires, I don't feel like werewolves fit into the contemporary world well at all. Like I don't I find it jarring. So it was just kind of nice to see a movie that was like set like in the 19th century or whatever with werewolves, because it just seemed more fitting, and there just aren't enough of those movies. So that's another reason why I give that movie kind of a pass. I know it's not a very good movie, and the CG is horrendous and stuff like that, but I still kind of like it.
They fit
And
into
again,
the modern world when they're called lichens.
yeah, exactly. The Underworld series. I should just watch all of those. There's 5 of those fucking things.
God, is that based on a fucking comic or something? Is it a graphic novel?
I don't think so.
I've never seen
such
any of those
cool-
movies, but Kate Beckinsale's hot as fuck.
Yeah, and she's aged so well. Like
She's in like 6 of them too, and there's somebody else in one of them. But then Kate came back.
Wait, is there 5 or 6?
There's like 8 of them.
there's 5.
I haven't seen the
Like how many
latest.
Resident Evils are there?
I saw the first one in theater. Why did I see it? Because it was 2003 and I was on a date. It was something to do.
There's 7 Resident Evils, and I haven't seen the last one because I'm a terrible fan. Only the last one.
I just wish they didn't exist at all. They make me so mad.
I lumped both of those series together, as in
Yeah,
subject matter I like, but movies that aren't any good.
yeah, exactly.
It's like the whole end of the first Underworld. Like, don't they manage to combine a lichen and a vampire, or whatever the hell the vampire is called? It's like a hybrid, and it's like badass.
I haven't seen it in so many years.
I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
Oh, here comes the most famous scene in the movie. The lobby scene.
Hey, bro, I know kung fu.
This is some gun fu.
I know guns and shit, bro.
Check these sweet guns.
I know America.
Shit. Oh, palm strike.
This is the best display of the Second Amendment.
This is Jay when he's walking into the Home Depot and they're out of his wood.
The opening is pretty terrible because I mean, they're just security guards that he just blindsides and murders out of nowhere. Now, some troops come in and they have a real gunfight, but it's so awkward at the start because it's just them murdering some unsuspecting people.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be that like sly about it. I mean, they weren't expecting it. I don't even know if they were armed. They had like a whistle, a flashlight.
I could dodge bullets.
Pepper spray, but they're both wearing sunglasses. GG, well played.
All right. I think these dogs have to take a shit, so I'll be back in just a minute.
When your guns run out of bullet, just throw them down and take out your other guns. Plus the music here. Everybody loves the music here. See, there's those sound effects. I wish that's what it sounded like when I kicked, but it doesn't. Whoosh. There's a really good thing with the shotgun that I like. Hasn't happened yet. Still doing the Uzis or whatever the hell they are. Oh yeah, this. Kicks the shotgun, spins it around, shoots him. That's pretty good. Also, if you like seeing pillars get messed up, this is
the movie for you.
There's not enough movies with pillars getting destroyed. Oh, one-handed cartwheel. I think he looks really dumb here, the way he hunches.
This makes me want to buy an AR-15 and an Uzi.
Just go into a crowded area and murder everybody.
Nope.
So glamorous. Everything green.
Remember how big leather was, though, back during this time?
Yeah. At least I was smart enough to never think I could pull it off.
You had to be a badass dude or a badass chick to make it like.
It's a little
work.
easier for girls, but again, you'd have to be like a really fit girl, or thin at least.
Yeah.
No, nobody wants to see a chunky girl in leather.
Oh god, that's like the worst thing of all time. We all have. Ugh.
When I was in Boston years ago, I was at the hard. I went to the Hard Rock. I was at the Hard Rock Cafe there, and you know how they have like memorabilia of various rock stars and stuff to show off.
Yeah.
In like a big glass case, on like a mannequin, they had a pair of Jim Morrison's pants. And man, I was obsessed with them. I was like, those are the best pants I've ever seen. I think I took like 6 pictures of Jim Morrison's pants. I thought they were amazing. They were like leather. They were leather pants, but they looked like you could pull them off. I was like, I could wear pants like that, and they'd look good. I swear. But yeah, that was the highlight of the Hard Rock Cafe in Boston. Jim Morrison's pants. The Bluey. Find them and destroy them. It's kind of weird. So they go. Why couldn't they get to the floor Morpheus was on? They took the elevator straight to the roof.
I don't know.
They were probably just like, "Hey, there's more guys to kill up there." They want to be thorough.
That's where there's a plot hole in the script.
Because I mean, they get a hold of the helicopter and they use it to attack the floor that he's on. But they never say something like, "Oh, the floor is like secure," or "There's super lock on the door," or "We'll have to do a different approach." They just go to the roof. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Bullets through your thighs. Whoa. Dodge this.
He looks really good, but she pulls it off amazingly well. The outfit.
Yeah. I'll give her that. Sorry, people. I know people think I was ragging on poor Carrie Edma, saying she's not super hot, and I get it. I should not just
What
judge.
else has she done? I can't even remember. Just name him a bunch of shit.
Like I said, I know her best from this and Memento. Then she kind of files off the earth. I know she's in that shitty Shia LaBeouf movie. What is the one where he's under house arrest and it's just a big ripoff of Rear Window? She plays his mom in that. I don't remember what it's called. It came out in 2007.
But she's in Memento, though?
Yeah. So is Joe Pantoliano. I mean, there's only like 3 or 4 actors in that movie, and they are 2 of them. No. This is some interesting aiming that he's able to not hit Morpheus with these thousands of bullets.
Oh, yeah. Give me the raining bullets. Come on.
I think I appreciate
go.
in movies when it's done well, but I've gotten to I always get to a point where I feel like they're doing it too much, and we reached that point in this movie. In the other one,
Not in 99. Not in 2000. Not in 2001. Never got old. Now it is.
in the Wonder Woman movie, they totally overuse it. Like every single time, like anybody's like going to do anything, like any sort of action. Like I think that movie would be like 10 minutes shorter.
What's up?
Huh?
What's up?
What's what?
I said, what's up?
Oh, I was reading something. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, something just popped up here. Morpheus is free.
I thought you like lost your connection or something.
Oh, okay. No, no, sorry, something popped up and I was clicking it and reading it and moving it over. But yeah, no, I was just saying, every single action scene in Wonder Woman has like a bunch of slow mo. It's not like it's poorly done. It just after a while, it just felt like they were using too much of it.
After the 3 Batman movies, would you say Wonder Woman is the 4th best out of all the DC Warner Brothers movies?
Yeah, probably.
Really? Okay, I gotta see it then.
I mean, it's better than Man of Steel. It's obviously way better than the Batman Superman movie. It's better than
I still haven't seen the 3rd Avengers. I gotta watch the first 2 before the 4th one comes out.
Yeah, you do. And oh yeah, Suicide Squad sucks.
Not a fan of Jared Leto.
I'm a fan of Jared Leto in certain things. I don't think Suicide Squad sucks because his Joker is so bad. I mean, his Joker is passable.
I
just
think
don't.
Joaquin Phoenix will be pretty awesome.
I've said this before, but what's funny about that is way back when they were going to do the first Nolan one, The Batman Begins, before anything was done, and they were just saying how they were going to do that. I thought that I wanted Guy Pearce to be Batman. Speaking of Memento, and I wanted Joaquin Phoenix to be Harvey Dent. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I take it back. This movie does hold up pretty well.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
I mean, some of the CGI is kind of wonky, but I mean, there's all those practical effects. Looks great.
Yeah,
and this is an HD transfer, I'm sure. So I don't know that I've seen it on like in an HD format.
No, this is the first time for me, and I know Cole's seen it a few times in HD, but this is like this part where shit's exploding all over the place, all the glass is shattering.
Yeah,
this shit's amazing. This whole movie. That's why I've just been like looking at my TV more and talking less.
Yeah.
The bullets falling, like it looks even better.
Say what you want about Wachowski's films, but they all look amazing.
Well, I was thinking like they did Bound before this, right? Like a few years before they did Bound.
Bound was basically kind of like a tryout movie to prove to studios they could make a movie. It was so they could get the budget to make The Matrix.
Bound's a good movie, right? I mean, I think it's a decent movie.
It's pretty good. I can't really remember it too well.
But
does that have lesbians?
Yeah, that's everybody remembers it. Yeah, it's like a lesbian scene with Jennifer.
Oh, it's pretty hot. Yeah.
I've never found Jennifer really very attractive, but sure.
Well, I mean, not now, but then maybe.
Not everybody, but anyway.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, where would you? I mean, this is like obviously a huge budget film. Like, why would you give these two guys that kind of money, like based on that?
I mean, I don't know, but that's the official story. The Bound was like basically their audition, sort of, to prove they can make a movie, so they could get a budget to do The Matrix. They really wanted to do The Matrix.
I mean, it's a very ambitious film. I mean, how do you know these guys can even do that shit? I mean, I don't know. It just seems.
What amazes me is any kind of artist or any kind of art form that breaks people get in life, and then they're literally set for like the rest of their lives, and then they're like, even if they only did one thing, it's just, or they have a great body of work like Carpenter. You know, they either make one thing or they make like whether it's a one-hit wonder, and the shit always like what's the word I'm looking for? Not amuses me. It like help me out, Cole.
Pisses you off.
No.
It pisses me off. I mean, that is the world of like a lot of things, like whether you're trying to make movies or be an actor or break into the music industry or get a book published or something like that. A lot of it is just breaks, right?
It's really interesting. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's plenty of people that are like, you know, you could go like see like a play in your hometown. And you'll see people that have just as much, if not more, acting talent than like A-list celebrities. But you know, here they are doing like community theater or whatever. Well, that's life.
Sure, I mean, luck's always involved. You know, you have to get an opportunity before you can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, these guys, like, I don't know. It just seems like studios are so fickle. I mean, probably more so now than they were then, I guess. But I mean, like. You know, they'll give those guys that direct music videos like a chance to direct some like $5 million horror movie. This is probably like, hell, I don't know, $75-100 million. You know, I don't know what the budget was, but
it's pretty up there for 1999
for two guys that you've never heard of. You know,
Yeah.
directors.
Well, they must have been able to do something with their pitch. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they
it was
must
a
have.
huge success, but imagine if it bombed. They'd probably both be like unheard of.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean in like a terrible way though. Like
Yeah.
just like yeah.
63 million was the budget.
Wow. And 99. Holy shit.
99, and then the budget for both sequels was 150 each.
Yeah. Which they could afford because this movie made so much money.
Right.
Can you do Google inflation? I don't have my phone near me. Do 63 million in today.
Be well over 100.
What's funny is like Nintendo and Super Nintendo cost as much as an Xbox and a PS4. Like a 2 to
That part was
400.
just lifted verbatim from Face Off. Them pointing the guns to be like, "You're empty, so are you." That's in Face Off.
What year was Face Off? 6, 7, or 8?
7.
That movie looks amazing.
Love Face Off.
I mean, that's like one of my favorite movies of all time, I think.
Yeah, kind of same here.
Yeah.
I mean, even the parts that are
Con Air, a lot of people like.
just too enjoyable, you know.
Con Air people like, but my go-tos were Face Off and Broken Arrow. Those are my two.
Both John Woo. Yeah, I even recognize that Broken Arrow is not really that great, but there's just something about it that I keep kind of like. I've watched that movie so many times. I've never owned it. I just watch it on TV all the time. And part of it's Samantha Mathis. She's just so adorable in that movie. But I mean, yeah. I like how in Scream 2, they just stole the theme and made it Dewey's theme. Bow, 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 bow. Thought nobody would notice. I noticed, damn it. Because I was a big Broken Arrow fan. But yeah, 90s, you know, you got, for me, Con Air and The Rock, Face Off, Broken Arrow.
Oh, The Rock, yeah. I like The Rock more than Con Air.
So like yeah, me too. So like Nick Cage is in 3 of those. So Nick Cage had it going on.
That was $103 million in the inflation.
Yeah, you would be
Nine
over.
figures.
You were dead on, Cole.
Hmm?
So you were right on.
Yeah, so it's got to be just about over 100 million. Whack, whack, whack.
Which, I mean, it's not a lot of money in terms of what movies cost now. Like, look at these Avengers movies cost like 500 million, don't they?
No, they're over 200 million. So far,
200 million?
the Justice League movie was 300 million.
And that's because of reshoots and everything else.
I think to date, there's only been 3 or 4 movies that have been over 300 million.
That makes me sick to know that they spent that much money on a movie, knowing that there's probably movies that cost $1,000 that I like more. You know,
What did
It's probably the most forgettable 300 million dollar movie you'll ever watch. Like I don't even have negative things to say about the Justice League movie. It just left like no impression. I can barely remember it.
What did Justice League make worldwide box office?
Oh,
I'm sure it made its money back just in
And
China
that doesn't
alone.
include DVDs and Blu-rays, and Kokona's going to fucking Walmart every Tuesday and buying all that shit, and Target and Best Buy and Amazon. It probably made $1 billion, probably altogether. Merchandise. So a failure, but not really.
Worldwide total of 657.
Yep, and then you add in all the merchandise, probably $2 billion. Good job, Warner Brothers.
But they don't even consider that like a success, though. I don't think.
no, not really.
I mean, I guess you got to spend money to make money in that ball game.
In the wind. I'm glad I'm not outside. That is kind of cool. He gets hit by the train, but then he gets off the train like it's a cartoon.
Yeah. Like he's Wile E. Coyote.
The Nebuchadnezzar. Rawr. That's a weird name for the ship. Nebuchadnezzar was an evil king from the Bible. Why would you name your ship after an evil king? He was the guy that tried to kill Daniel and put people in the furnace.
You
'Cause they're
answered it
dumb.
earlier. They're just trying to come up with some cool name.
Yeah, but you would think it would have to, like, there's plenty of biblical things that, like, it would, if you take something from the Bible, usually it's because it's symbolic or has meaning. But Nebuchadnezzar was a bad guy.
Austin
that-
316 said, "I just whooped your ass, Cole."
But you did?
Austin 316 said, "I just whooped your ass."
You whipped my ass how?
Stone Cold Steve Austin, Austin 316. You know,
Okay,
like
sorry.
somebody's. Yeah.
I'm very stupid. Yes, I remember that, yeah. But yeah, that ties back to the Beastie Boys, by the way. One of my favorite Beastie Boys songs is tied to Nebuchadnezzar because it's called Shadrach. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. They were Daniel's friends. I know my Bible, people.
Old Testament.
Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. Let's go. That song has some great rhymes. Like, I got the girlies in the tub like the Colonel's got the chicken. Okay, that's not the rhyme, but it's a line.
That's pretty good.
That's a good line.
And they needed like something to rhyme. They needed something to rhyme with L, like the L sound. And they're like, I'm like Mario Andretti because he always drives his car well. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Yeah, that's from the album before Sabotage, before License Sale, whatever it was, the '92 or the '93 album.
The party, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, I can't remember.
You
Anyway,
gotta fight for your right.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh no, it's after that one. It's between those because
No sleep till
yeah, that's their first License Sale or whatever. That's like their first from like the late '80s. But no, they had at least two. Oh, they had one called Paul's Boutique in '89, I believe, and it's the one after Paul's Boutique and before whatever and before the one that had like Sabotage and stuff on it. Anyway,
Sabotage.
You do like some hip hop.
yeah, okay, well, yeah, like I said, I like the Beastie Boys.
Likes the Beastie Boys.
I like the Beastie Boys.
There's plenty of nerdy white guy rap groups out there, though.
Yeah, I'll have to look into some more, I guess. Although I don't think any have that great voice that the Beastie Boys had.
Logic's nerdy as fuck, but he can spit like a motherfucker. He was on the H3 podcast tonight.
He is nerdy as fuck.
But he's a beast though, and he's not like
Drake, like Malcolm X. You know, I always say that, right? That's from Chappelle's show.
What?
He said Brian Gumbel makes Wayne Brady look like Malcolm X. No. Wayne Brady makes Brian Gumbel look like Malcolm X.
Real sports with Tom Brady.
I say that like all the time.
I guess you're not the one because you have been shot. He should have said "whoa" there too after he got shot. I've been shot. Whoa.
Gnarly.
If the bullet goes under 50 miles per hour, we all die.
Harsh.
He does get a little corny here though. Like he dies and it's just like he has to be the one. The Oracle told me I would fall in love with the one, and I love him. Like
He bet some spoons for me.
Most romantic thing ever.
And they were stainless steel.
Cue the Rage Against the Machine.
Wake up.
Man, I used to fucking love that album. Man, I cranked that shit up so loud.
Awesome. Yeah, and say what you want about the '98 Godzilla, but that had an amazing soundtrack. And no, I don't want to Puff Daddy.
Puff Daddy on it, yeah.
Yeah.
Come with me, Cole. Come with me.
No, all the other songs except that. Like, that's one of my favorite Ben Folds 5 songs, which I'm sure appears nowhere. It has a really good Foo Fighters song, which I don't think appears anywhere in the movie. And it has No Shelter, which is my favorite Rage Against the Machine song.
Really? I like Freedom.
There'll be no shelter here. The thin line is everywhere.
Freedom's my favorite.
Yeah, I mean they're just so good at making it. Dare down, dare down,
I
dare
think,
down.
I think they're the band in the 90s that everybody loves. And then I think in the 2000s, that band is System of a Down. Those are like two bands everybody likes. Nobody hates them.
I don't hate System of a Down, but I never really understood their appeal. I mean, they're weird. Wake up!
No, like you
Put the
asked
fucking
me.
money on the table.
You wanted to.
No, but like, okay, Rage is a little bit, older, but like, and everybody likes them. But System of a Down, I've talked to people who are like hardcore gangster rap homie G, like G slices, and they're like, "Oh, I love System of a Down. They're so great." And I'm like, "How the fuck do you know?" And then I look at
I only
Toxicity,
know like
that whole album, and it's got like 2 billion views on all their videos, and I'm like, when did they just got big? And like, I liked them like in '99, 2000, and then didn't pay attention for like 15 years, and then they're the biggest fucking metal band of like all time. I don't know what happened.
Are they even around anymore?
I have no idea.
I
I just
think-
have a really great MP3 from like the early 2000s of Avril Lavigne covering that song. It's actually really funny because she's just fucking around. I mean, say what you want about Avril Lavigne, but she's having fun there. She's going, wake up! It's pretty funny. Ah, that's right. He is cyber genius. Cyber Jesus.
I mean, I think the guys are super talented. I just have never really liked
I
their
only
music
know,
that much.
For their songs.
That's why when it was like 2010,
I don't like his
2011.
even take out that weirdness. I just don't like his vocal style at all. Not for me.
No, but like it was like 2015, 2016, and I'd look on YouTube and I'd look at like anything from Toxicity and it would have like fucking 500 million views, and I was like, what happened? What did I miss?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I like how he finishes him by jumping into him.
I just know, like, Watch Mojo's got a video like, "What happened to System of a Down?" and I haven't watched it yet.
There is a good bit of physical comedy here where the two look at each other and try to run.
Yeah, so that shit right there looks kind of stupid. But
Yeah. Okay, that looked like 80s.
yeah, I don't know what you call that. He keeps doing this weird flexing thing.
But this is a good bit when they look at each other.
Oh,
That's decently funny. Yeah. Answer the telephone. You're gonna get ripped apart by tentacle monsters.
they're Armenian, right?
Wachowski.
System of a Down.
Oh, yeah, the lead singer is something like that.
I
Like,
think a few of them are
okay.
whatever
Yeah,
that
they
is.
yeah.
And yeah, I think they do incorporate kind of a bit of a Middle Eastern vibe into some of their some of the songs, and I don't like it. And I don't like that kind of stuff. I mean the music. I don't mean all things Middle Eastern. People, chill out.
Hey.
I'm offended. You're blocked.
Oh yeah, I think the entire band is. Yeah, Armenian Americans.
Okay, yeah.
Man, that must be a pretty tight knit community since they're all Armenian.
See, this is a good ending, but it's how everything should have ended. There shouldn't have been anything after this.
I wonder if they know the Kardashians.
Then
Oh, yeah,
you see the ending of that, and then the fucking soundtrack kicks in, and you walk out of the theater with your popcorn, your soda, and you're like, I'm a fucking badass. Come on.
Without boundaries, bro. Anything is possible.
Do you even hack, Jay? Do you?
Order me a Domino's hot one.
A world where you can send letters to your girlfriend through a magic mailbox in time.
Where you can track your pizza in 30 minutes or less.
Where the wax puts itself on your surfboard.
Where buses don't need drivers.
Where buses never go over 55 miles an hour.
Where Kate Beckinsale and I can pretend to be in love, but not really put much effort into it.
Mhm.
That's right. Serendipity reference. I just realized it's not him. It's John Cusack. Because the movie I was thinking with him was Sweet November. Sorry, I mixed up. The Wachowski brothers. That's a little
Tom
dated.
Morello and
you're
his
going with the Lake
500
House reference.
pedals.
Everybody knows the way. Andy, Larry. Nobody had better righteous anger than Zach De La Rocha.
Yeah, he did some stuff with the Run the Jewels.
Oh, cool.
He's in their best song, in my opinion.
Democracy.
That's a band that they kept like breaking up and getting back together. And then the guitarist went on to do that thing with Chris Cornell.
They all did.
Oh, did they? Okay.
That's what that band is. It's
That-
Rage Against the Machine with Chris Cornell and not Zach De La Rocha.
That's what they
whatever.
were.
Yeah.
Is that,
Audio Slave.
yeah. That guitar player is fucking awesome.
Tom Morello.
Yep,
He was
he's the world record holder for owning like 1,000 fucking pedals.
Yeah.
Like the weirdest fucking sounds.
Really smart guy too. He went to like Harvard. And yeah.
Yep.
But I always thought it was funny watching because in the 90s, that was the era. It started with grunge and it kept going even lower when you got into post-grunge and stuff like Korn. It was, your guitar is so low, it's like down by your knees. And Tom Morello's up here going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up here.
And he's always just like a janitor or like a mechanic with his little hat on and stuff. Tom Morello's fucking awesome.
yeah, the Kung Fu choreo, Yan Wu Ping, who also did some really good ones, including my favorite, as I mentioned, Fist of Legend.
Some of the CGI may suck dick as we're closing the end of this commentary, but I think this is
Still really
better than I remember seeing it for the first fucking 25 times in HD. I thought it looked amazing.
Oh, it looks great, yeah. You can count on that.
But I mean, even the shitty CGI I think looks really good.
Yeah, it looks clear and stuff. That's the Matrix.
No, okay, we all have this in our VCR. All right, we got to rewind it now. There, go back 20 years. 20 fucking years since this thing came out. I don't feel old. I just feel hopeless.
Yeah, the world has definitely gotten worse.
This is when you had dial-up internet. DSL was like just coming along.
Man, like 2000, 2001, 2002, that was like the best years of the internet. Because it wasn't too slow. I mean, it wasn't as fast as it is now, but it wasn't like slow like it had been. And you could have anything. There was
98 to 2004. Yeah.
There was no big services like subscription things. Just everything was there for the taking. You
It
didn't
was
have
however many discs you had.
your name or your credit card or any of this bullshit. You torrented it or you streamed it or whatever. It was all there. And nowadays, everything is official. You have to pay for.
Oh, remember disc changers? Do you ever have one of those?
Yeah.
I had one of these big ones. Like there's some with the magazines you could put in, but I had one of the big flat ones. Fucking thing was huge.
And then everyone got CD players and CD burners. John, did you do your homework? You just like finished the discography of like Slayer. You're like, no, yeah, Mom, I'm not going to jail.
Oh, I've been burning CDs all afternoon.
Yeah.
And then you write on them with a shitty Sharpie.
Yeah.
I still
John
burn.
Elton and the Beatles.
I need to show you my collection. I've got tons of
Whenever
those.
I go to my parents' house, I burn CDs because then I play them in the car. I make myself little CDs to play in the car when I'm driving in Sydney.
Vinyl's cool and people collect that shit, and that's a great thing to collect. I mean, I won't even go against that because it's the best way you can hear it. But I like still collecting CDs. Like I bought Metallica's last album, Hardwired Self-Destruct, and there's another band I like, Children of Bodom. Theirs is coming out in March. I'm just gonna buy it just as a collector's item because it'll be on Spotify and all that shit.
What's awesome about my library is besides like movies, you can get CDs. So I can just borrow CDs and then just rip them on the computer. So, fuck iTunes and all that. There's plenty of songs I can just own for free because I can just rip them off CDs that I borrow from the library.
Fuck reading.
I mean,
Yeah, fuck reading. Let's just,
but I
so
mean, even if you don't use ad block, just minor ads, and you have all of YouTube. Like,
It's anything basically you want.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Spotify doesn't have everything, you know. Almost it almost does, but it doesn't have like Jay-Z and Tool bands and artists like that. But YouTube, the only artist who's a pain in the ass is Jay-Z because he owns the Tidal music service, streaming service. So he has like select stuff on there. But every other artist, including Tool, which they hate like anything digital, I guess, they're all on YouTube. And then there's all the exclusive shit too, like the rare, you
I
know.
think I own all the Tool. Like I've just burned all of my CDs into MP3s.
Fucking, I had all that shit, but I just in one of those huge ass binders that we all had, but I just lost it.
Yeah.
3 years of moving.
ugh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's what like I don't these damn kids today. But I mean, it's one thing that they don't seem to appreciate like the work you had to put in it to have like a huge collection of music.
Yeah, and it was like you couldn't really collect everything no matter what kind of job you had or how much allowance you made. Like some
Mhm.
guys had monster CD cases, some had a bunch of DVDs or VHSs, like libraries. It was like you
Mhm.
could only collect like one thing.
Like I would buy up like singles and EPs,
Yeah,
bands I liked a lot because they would often have, tracks that aren't on normal albums.
And you had that shit though, but I assume the main thing you collected was comics, obviously, right?
Well, not back then.
Oh,
Not in the 90s.
oh.
I didn't start seriously collecting comics till 2003. Before that, I just bought comics kind of haphazardly, and I would even go a long time without buying any.
What's that? 15 years? That's still a long time though.
Oh yeah, about 15
Yeah.
years that I've been collecting seriously. Yeah. I was gonna
Yeah.
say what you're saying about the world's gotten worse. The only thing that's like better about my life now than like 20 years ago is I have more stuff now. I mean, yeah, I've got more games and books and stuff like that. Besides that, everything else is worse. I'm older, uh, and the state of the world, et cetera, et cetera.
you need to get on Facebook so you can post pictures of all the stuff you have.
Man. Although I do promise, I swear I will do like a collection update because people are interested in that for like the comics and stuff. And
Like YouTube, there's a lot of shit on YouTube that's useful, and there's so much on YouTube, whether it's live streams or recorded videos or just whatever the fucking thing is, presidential speeches or sporting events. But like how normie Facebook is just kind of makes me sick. Like everyone and their mom has it, and their grandma and their dead fucking great grandma somehow has an account and she can vote too. I don't fucking know, but like Facebook is like I thought YouTube was normie, but like Facebook is just you see the greatest things about humanity on Facebook.
I was on Facebook for about 5 months in 2007, and I've been off it ever since. So
And
I'm
then
not saying
people get butthurt and they block you. It's just like
I'm so glad I got off of there. The only thing that I wish like people do like contests and stuff. That's like the only reason I wish I still had an account.
super annoying. Yeah, you're about to click and it's like enter through Facebook. I'm like, oh, yeah, Facebook. Yeah. So yeah, that's happened a few times. Although
That's it.
half the time I can't enter contests anyway because a lot of the time they're not available in Canada. So
well, people used to make fun of Twitter, like, oh, you're posting what food you're eating or what's in your mansion. That's Facebook, man, all the way from people who are, literally broke as fuck to people who are like Bill Murray. Like that's my Facebook at least. Or the worst is how successful someone is in their career. And if you're successful, that's okay, that's fine. But there's people who just like rub it in your face. They're like, look at my new Maserati. Look, it's right there, and you can do it too. And I'm like, go fuck yourself.
That's why a lot of people have low self-esteem because they don't understand that that's not real life. Like, oh, so and so and your boyfriend, they're so happy. Look at all this shit they do together. But he like beats the shit out of her behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And you only put the good things on social media, of course. And
yeah,
Well, it's like what we talk about, when someone gets blamed for anything, everyone just gets their fucking pitchforks and goes after whether it's Weinstein, whether it's I don't
yeah.
know, a chick.
Well, I mean, you know, not even like, there's like no evidence. I'm trying to think of the word for that, before they should, like, because like, like James Gunn and stuff, they tried to hang him out to dry a couple times, and, there's a
Yeah,
guy that does like Nerdist.
he didn't do anything that Weinstein did. Weinstein actually committed crimes. I mean, James Gunn like said some stuff on Twitter or something that people didn't like. I
Yeah,
mean,
like years ago. I mean, the guy's like a comedian and, risque,
But
but,
it's fucking dumb though because it's like Facebook and just internet culture now has become, it used to be a cool place that, people use, but not everybody. And now it's just like it's like the cool kids club in high school. A rumor gets out. Okay, this lady touches little boys, and shit, and then everyone believes it. Like, okay.
yeah, there's a good bit of that on a Family Guy episode where they get like some guy, they get some hipster guy into the place where Peter works to teach them all about about all like Twitter and all this stuff because they want to appeal more to millennials. And one guy says something, and he's like, "Hey, that's one of my trigger warnings." And the guy goes, "Wait a second, what's a trigger warning?" He goes, "Actually, brah, one of my trigger warnings is people asking me about my trigger warning." And he takes out his phone, and and now you're trending, brah. And he goes, and now you're trending, brah. And now you're fired, brah. And now your life is over, brah. Bye, brah. And then he gets like dragged out by security.
That's actually pretty good. That's good.
Because that's what it is now. Like, you do or say anything that, whether it's right or wrong,
whether it even happened,
in context, suddenly it just goes up on the internet and everybody's flipping out about it, and your life is fucking ruined.
But Tom, yeah, and your whole life's ruined. But Tom Segura said it the best in his latest special, Disgraceful. He's like, there are words that we just threw around in the '90s, and they were so much fun. And one was like retard. The other one was, I don't even think it was faggot. I think he just said gay. Yeah, it was gay and retard and another one. And I was like, yeah, in the '90s, no one gave a shit. And then the most shocking thing to me is talking to kids who are in high school right now, right? They're like, oh, bullying doesn't happen. And I was like, oh, really? Because I got my ass kicked in middle school, but I was the man in high school, and kids don't have to go through any of this shit. Fuck that.
Let me tell you, like George St. Pierre, like he became who he is because of that.
Yeah, he used to get beat up. Yeah,
it made him stronger. Like literally made him stronger.
Yeah, that's why he took karate, because he wanted to be strong and feel better about himself and stuff and deal with bullies.
But we live in an age though where there's no bullying, and there's cameras everywhere.
I don't think it's possible.
Bullying, it's just all moved on to online.
On social media,
all cyberbullying and stuff.
But a keyboard is way less effective than getting shoved down a flight of fucking stairs. I mean, let's be real here. Come on.
Well,
I don't know.
These kids are killing themselves all over the place.
It is true.
Yeah, it is, but
like I said, it's kind of just like the old contrast of the way girls bully and the way boys bully. Like boys will, often like ridicule you and maybe even beat you up, whereas girls, it's much more subtle, but it's still devastating. The way girls will target other girls and say shit about them and spread rumors and all this stuff. I mean, yeah, they're not hitting them physically, but it's taking a horrible toll on their lives. So there's also, and that's kind of where everything is now, because of it all moving online. So now it's all that kind of stuff. It's all rumors and name calling and all this stuff. Because again, it's one thing to like have somebody say it to your face. It's another thing for somebody to say it on the screen, and now suddenly it's on everybody's screen. They're saying you're a little bitch, and suddenly it's like everybody's saying it. Yeah, they are.
A video of you being a bitch.
About this a lot, but like imagine you enter 5th grade, so you enter middle school, and you're in today's age, and you have 8 more years to go. Just of high school, not even college. You know how much that would suck? Whether you're an athlete, whether you're a writer, whether you're, fuck that.
Like I said, I'm super glad that I wasn't that this stuff wasn't around when I was a kid. So like I said, I feel so bad. I
got out at the perfect time. The first iPhone came out in 2007 when I was a senior, and they were putting up cameras around the high school.
Because now, like junior high, like you're supposed to like, if I liked a girl in junior high, I kind of just sort of pined for her, behind the scenes. Now it's like I'm supposed to like text her and tell her to send me nudes.
You're supposed to swipe right, I think.
Yeah.
Or whichever way is the right way.
Tinder's hilarious. I make fucking troll profiles, and I'm like, I like my mom's basement. Yours is nice too. If we can stay there, I collect Pokemon cards, and I play with Gundam Wing figures on the weekends. How you guys doing? Long walks on the beach. I like pudding, not Jello, because I'm not Cosby.
Down with Jello. All right, it's super late for me, so if there was any topics, Jay, that you were interested in, I remember you said there were a couple
Okay.
to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you about this because I was listening to a podcast the other day that was talking about how it started about talking about the the NFL and how the NFL is racist, and we'll talk about that another time. But I want to get into MMA. They were saying the UFC is racist,
Really?
and they don't support black fighters. But I mean, going through the champions right now, like there's only like 2 or 3 white guys and girls in the entire thing. Like most of them are people of color, and it's really kind of weird someone saying that. I just wanted to get your opinion of that, like if you agree with that.
Say about that is one of the champions. Tyron Woodley has pulled the race card every time anything happens. If people say he's a boring fighter, he says you're racist. If fight didn't happen the way Tyron Woodley's the only person I've heard say that, and he is one of the black champions. Because he's a black champion.
But
Jones,
he's a champion. I mean, how can you say they're racist when you're the champion of I mean, you're what, welterweight? Is that what he is?
Yeah, and Demetrius Johnson, of course, was the longest running, and he was black and stuff. I don't know. All I can figure is they're saying they're not marketing the black fighters, but of course they are. So I don't know. I mean, the MMA is, I think, really good for showing people of all races, right? It's
Exactly. I thought it was a very diverse.
People from all sorts of different countries and different ethnicities and stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I get that some fighters get more of a push and more marketing than others, but I've never seen a racial bend to it. I've never seen them be like, oh, we're only going to promote the white fighters. I have not seen that.
I think it's more of an individual thing. Like they use DC as an example. I mean, I think DC is a boring fighter. I don't think he's a good champion. He's not going to bring big dollars for pay-per-view. He's going to take you to the ground and hug you for 5 minutes. I mean, for 25 minutes.
Yeah, DC's okay. I mean, he's retiring soon, so I don't have to worry about his boring fight.
Right. I mean, I like the guy, but I think he's a boring fighter. I mean, I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Miocic, anyway. We'll give him that. I mean, he moved up to heavyweight and fought at the time the most dominant heavyweight champion ever, and knocked him out after like a minute, which is pretty good. Now, maybe it was a fluke, I don't know, but that wasn't boring. But yeah, like when he fought Silva, I mean, that was just lose for both fighters. So it's like Silva's too small to be a light heavyweight, and even though he actually did win at light heavyweight earlier in his career, he beat the shit out of like Forrest Griffin and somebody else at light heavyweight. But yeah, but anyway, yeah. But it was just lose for both of them because Silva was too small and over the hill, and DC knew that he could still get knocked out by Silva. So he did what he did. He pulled him to the ground and boring ass fight. But yeah, the only person I've heard whine about racism in the UFC was Tyron Woodley.
I'm not even very familiar with him.
He might be the worst champion now. Like nobody likes him.
I was just going to go through here. That's the pound for pound. I was trying to find I didn't have this pulled up. Anyway, like let's. You got
the fight he had with Thompson is one of the most boring title fights of all time.
So you've got I don't know how you say Henry, whatever is the flyweight champion, the Mexican guy. Cejudo. And then TJ Dillashaw, which is a white dude. And then what's after bantamweight?
Featherweight.
So that's Holloway.
That's Holloway. And then Khabib, the Russian. And then
we've got one white guy so far, and then Tyron.
And Woodley, yeah. And then the middleweight champion is
Whitaker,
Whitaker, the New Zealander.
I mean, I don't know, is he a white guy? I don't know if he considered anymore.
He's from New Zealand.
He doesn't look white to me. That's the only reason I say that. And then John Jones.
It's possible he has some of that Aborigine
in
him. I'm not sure.
John Jones, then and Cormier.
And Cormier. Yeah, and Cormier is still officially the heavyweight guy. I guess he's staying at heavyweight.
Yeah, he relinquished his belt for light heavy.
Because he's sick of losing to Jones. And we're all sick of seeing it.
I really feel like he's too short to be a heavyweight fighter anyway.
That's kind of what I like about it. Because the truth was, in Strikeforce, he fought at heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was unbeaten at heavyweight. So that's why, a lot of people are saying, well, Miocic is too much for him. I'm thinking he's beaten heavyweights before, maybe not as good as Miocic. I mean, he beat what's his name? Oh, shit, I can't remember. He beat Josh Barnett at heavyweight Strikeforce and a couple other really big guys.
Frank Shamrock.
I love Frank Shamrock.
Do
My
you?
favorite MMA fight of all time for me is the middleweight championship at Strikeforce, Frank Shamrock and Kung Lee. Kung Lee won by TKO by breaking Frank's arm with kicks.
That's a good fight.
That's all. The whole thing's available on YouTube. I'm not a, I've been watching for 20 years or something. I've been watching for about 6 years. So there's a lot I haven't seen, and obviously that's not one I saw live. I saw later, but that's still my favorite fight to this day.
Nagano is now second in the heavyweight.
Yeah, he knocked out somebody.
Velasquez.
My favorite fights were when Couture
down. So who knows? A lot of people say he didn't even really get knocked out. That Velasquez knee gave out on him, and then he just got smoked.
Yeah, it was bad.
Some of my favorite fights were when Couture beat the shit out of Ortiz and Liddell after they both had bitch fights with each other.
Yeah.
Couture just came and just smacked the shit out of them at 40 and 41 years old, respectively, when he beat them. And then, honestly, the most memorable, besides Matt Hughes just throwing little bitches around, making them little throwing them around the cage and picking them up, probably Franklin and Silva in their primes. That shit was insane.
Yeah, a lot of people forget about Franklin. Rich Franklin was a really good fighter. A lot of people don't give him much credit. But
I don't know if they fought 2 or 3 times, but those fights, holy shit.
Yeah, I feel bad that I didn't start watching until after Pride and Strikeforce and WEC were gone, because they all seem to have really good fights compared to UFC.
I love WC and Strikeforce.
Yeah, exactly. That's when some of these guys were in their prime, Strikeforce. That's why Nick Diaz was at his best.
Yeah, Anthony Pettis. Benson Henderson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that whole generation. They're they're all good now.
Yeah, they're moving on. Yeah, they're all getting knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. Pettis in his last fight put up a really good fight against Tony Ferguson, way better. I thought Ferguson was just going to run through him, but it was a really competitive fight. But he just took so much damage that his corner threw in the towel.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, he wanted to keep going. His corner threw in the towel. He was losing the fight, but he was right in it. I thought he was going to get smoked.
It was a close first round, I think.
Yeah, it was very close. So I think it proves that Pettis still has something in him. So we'll see.
Royce Gracie, Ken Shamrock, Tank Abbott, Dan Severn.
Dan Severn. Oh,
Dan
man.
Severn.
That fighter. I've watched. Yeah, there's a boring-ass fighter. He has 150 fights. He fought into his 50s. He once had to fight a heavyweight fight where they weren't allowed to use punches, where they had to slap each other around for 20 minutes. But yeah, you got to. That's the other thing that's passed me by too. I guess it's good that they have those rules, but I feel like I missed out on the cool generation, because that was when the rules were different and weight classes were different and stuff.
Yeah.
Randy Couture was fighting guys way bigger than himself. That's cool. That doesn't happen.
When you started collecting comics, probably a year or 2 before that is when I started watching UFC pay-per-views. And then the previous ones I got, they're all at the video store when the guy's holding up the globe and shit, 1 through 20, 1 through 25, whatever they were.
I was well aware of it, in the mid-2000s, because I had a few friends that watched it, and of course this was when Georges St-Pierre was at his biggest. So even if I was watching hockey, suddenly they'd have Georges St-Pierre on, or highlights, or talking about him or something. So he was huge, just so huge. And at the time, I really disliked MMA because I thought it was too brutal. I just didn't like the idea of knocking a guy down and then jumping. I I like it more now because I understand it better. But I'll admit, if I was walking down an alley at night and somebody jumped me and attacked me, and I managed to punch them and knock them down, I would still. There's no instinctive, and this is me or them. This is a real life situation. Who knows that? I don't have it in me to jump on them and start wailing on them. And they do
Ground
this,
and pound, elbows.
and they do this as a sport. I couldn't do this against a stranger that's trying to hurt me. You
Jay,
know?
watch the back of the head. Watch the back of the head.
Yeah.
Fuck your head.
Yeah. Like I don't have that in me. And I actually one of the last cards I watched, black guy knocked out a Korean guy, and part of it is the ref's fault. But I'm just thinking, like the guy wobbled and fell, and he's doing hammer fist after hammer fist. He got about 4. I'm like, are you trying to murder this man? Like, and nobody said anything about it. So it still happened.
Canada, man, but Matt Hughes was my favorite fighter overall, just for how he just treated people like little bitches in his weight class. But when George St. Pierre took the belt after those few low blows and then just beat the shit out of him, that was one of the worst pay-per-views. That was like, what, 2006, 2007? I still remember that pay-per-view. Oh my god!
You were really upset to see Hughes
He won the belt from that, right? Matt Hughes.
Yep, he won the
lost
belt.
it to the other Matt.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why I know you hate both those fighters, because they both beat George.
I remember George's first pay-per-view bout that wasn't on like a off card. I think it was Ken Shamrock versus Chemo, when literally Ken Shamrock just kneed Chemo in the head and he fell over. But George St. Pierre won, and he had his little like bandana thing on, and then he just did a backflip, and he almost didn't make it.
Yeah.
UFC
that was
43.
when he won the title back, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 43 or 44. Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
I just got to say, the guy is so humble. Like, I've just got so much respect for him. Like, someone who, I mean, I don't know. I don't like guys that get out there and talk all this shit, and then, whether they can back it up or not, I've never liked that.
That was the best about Rampage, though, when Forrest was coming up, and what was the black guy's name? Rashad Evans.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys, yeah.
Yeah, I like Rashad too. He's another guy that's kind of humble.
He hung on too long, like a lot of them. I mean, he finally retired after like getting knocked out 4 times in a row or something.
Still commentating or something.
Keith Jardine.
Yeah.
See, you don't have guys like him anymore. Keith Jardine, he just went.
Yeah, swinging for the fences all day.
God, he just had like really long arms, and he just sort of like.
You just have 2 guys who had no jiu-jitsu or grappling experience or wrestling, and they would just fucking swing. Yeah. Rampage won a lot of those fights. That's the only reason why he got big. Just because he would just hit someone in the jaw.
He had a big right hand. Yeah.
Rampage is declined. It's even sad about losing. It's sad because he used to be so exciting. He went from one of the most exciting to one of the most boring. Like Rampage is like the last 7 years, his fights, like part of it is he doesn't care. Like he doesn't he doesn't train, right? Like he's not interested.
It's just great seeing him stream on Twitch though, because he'll go to like Red Lobster or like Chili's or something, and he'll be like, Rampage, and he'll get like 100 autographs the whole place, and he's just like playing on his tablet and like trying to talk to his friends. It's hilarious. I don't know. That's funny.
I like Rampage. I'm a monster.
I remember when he lost, he was doing the fucking what's the old Mr. T show? The movie he was in.
Oh,
he was in. Yeah, then they did the post-fight conference. He was like, I knew I should have done that fucking stupid movie. And Dana White was like, oh, calm. This is like trying to calm him down and like have the cameras like point to somebody else.
Done it?
He said,
but it made a lot of money for the UFC because it was a good deal for them. So he's like, no.
How did they get money out of that?
I don't know, but I think maybe it was exposure. But Rampage was like, I should have never done that movie because it fucked up my training, or said something like that. And then Dana White was like, no. Next question. And he just like
it fucked up your ingestion of a bunch of cheddar biscuits.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
That
movie's okay.
Yeah, but he's just sitting there with the chain, and he doesn't have his belt anymore, and he's like, I should have never done that movie. God damn it.
But fuck, back in September when I saw the new Predator movie, that's what it felt like. It felt like that A-Team movie.
Oh god,
which is not what you want for a Predator movie, right?
that was the dude from Moonlight. I think was in that. The obviously not the main guy, but the one of the crazy people on the bus,
Yeah.
the second in command, the guy that smokes cigarettes all the time.
Okay. Yeah, they had several. I mean, who was the other guy? Uh,
Oh, yeah, the token black guy, the token
I can't remember
Hispanic guy.
which one is Key or Peele, but one of them
Oh god, yeah, no,
was on the bus too.
that was key.
Yeah, I can't remember which is which. But yeah, it was a dumb movie, and that's what it felt like. It felt like the 80s.
I want to watch Covenant and the newest Predator, or the Predator, I think is what it's called, but I just haven't. And I love both of those franchises, but I'm just like,
No, they're both
I
bad.
really wouldn't worry about it. Really,
They're both really bad.
unless it's Terminator or Die Hard, like I'll take a chance. But other than that, I have to watch shit that's like critically acclaimed.
you know the Predator. I don't know how much I can blame the direct. You know, Shane Black and it was the guy that did like Night of the Creeps and stuff.
Oh, I'm not gonna get it.
And
Oh,
anyway,
goddamn.
that director
Fuck.
that wrote a lot of that movie, like they had to go back to the drawing board because of the studio a few times. I feel like whatever they were putting out wasn't like they didn't feel like it was going to satisfy the Michael Bay audience.
Yeah.
So they came back with like the stupidest shit they could think of. And,
Yeah, because they're just like, let's supersize everything.
exactly,
Basically.
exactly. It's stupid, and I think that's what they were asked to do.
That's one thing that makes me like kind of embarrassed to be American, and there's not really much that does because I fucking love my country, but how there's like 50 Transformers films and people just keep going to see them.
Keep making money, man. You know.
I know,
Redneck.
and then they hit China, so it's not fair, but like I just like why would you want to see a 3-hour Transformers 9 movie? I guess if you're like a huge Autobots fan, like I don't know.
I mean,
I actually wanted to see Bumblebee. I feel bad I didn't see it because
The one had fucking Anthony Hopkins, and I love him. He's in my top 3 actors of all time. Didn't see it. The last Optimus, whatever the fuck it was.
last night or whatever.
Yeah, last night.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins had like a great time filming that. He wouldn't shut up about how much fun he had doing that movie, which I get. Sure,
good for him, man. You know?
I love putting the check into my teller's hands.
It puts the money in my bank. Hope you got laid and parlayed, son.
As I said,
Michael Bay's just like, hey, Sir Hopkins.
movies, but that doesn't mean they're not fun to work with. Like Michael Bay and, as we said, Adam Sandler. Like people love making movies with Adam Sandler because one, he's a super nice guy, and two, like he doesn't really feel like work. Okay, let's fly down to Barbados and shoot this stupid movie. You know,
I've heard the same thing about Michael Bay. He's an easy guy to work with.
hot chicks all.
An easy guy to work for.
I know, which like I'm not saying like he's a great guy or anything, but I mean, you could tell that like when I remember from the first Transformers movie after that, or after the first two, when Megan Fox left and she went off and she said he was like Hitler. I'm like, yeah, he fucked her, and she got mad, and you know,
Oh, totally.
that's totally what happened, you know.
Totally.
Then she's like, and you're like, oh, she would never do that, and then she like marries a guy like 25 years older than her or something.
She would do anything. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, Mark Wahlberg's worked with him like what 3 or 4 times now. So I mean,
Mark Wahlberg must have worked with everybody by this point. He's done so many goddamn movies.
but I mean, if he didn't like the director, obviously he wouldn't work with the guy.
And
Let's go cross some puss, bro.
But I know that a lot of people were getting mad that recently Liam Neeson told a story where he said, like, in a really bad situation, he had racist thoughts. Like, that was the story, right? You guys didn't hear about this Liam Neeson?
I heard about it, but I didn't hear the details, so continue.
So what
Okay,
are
it was like
inflating him now. They
years ago, I think he was when he was in Ireland or something like that, and a close friend of his got like raped, and apparently the guy that did it was black, and he said, I was just so full of rage that for like a week I was walking around hoping I could just run into any black person and beat them up. I was so mad, and like of course people have all flipped out that he said that. And I'm thinking, so he's admitting that, like, a long time ago, in a moment of that he had racist thoughts that he did not act on, and that he now says he is ashamed of and feels bad about. And yet we're going to vilify him. And Meanwhile, Marky Mark did commit hate crimes, but since it wasn't against black people, it was against a Korean guy. That's fine. He's.
But this is why I act so fucking emo and talk about like, fucking not wanting to live anymore. That shit with Liam Neeson, people just they hate their lives. They wake up, they check Twitter and Facebook, and they go, "All right,
That's
well I can fucking roast this guy today. Fuck that guy." When he's like one of the nicest guys of all time.
it's just the machine, man. It's the like.
Fuck the machine.
I'm
TQ.
triggered. Oh, I'm triggered today because of this.
I'm just saying this system.
It's such a human statement for him to say that. That's awesome for him to say some shit like that.
Yeah, and
I mean that he learned
But
from
with the internet, it seems like
And yet, all these like articles and people coming out saying like, don't think that Liam Neeson is great for admitting this thing. Like, this isn't a thing about redemption or like. I'm like, really? Why isn't it? Like, everybody has had bad thoughts, and maybe even
exactly.
thoughts.
That's human reactions to something.
And he's owning up. He's saying, he's ashamed of it and he's embarrassed about it. He's just saying, it was such a horrible, traumatic thing that I had these thoughts going through my mind and stuff. And to me, that's
isn't it just weird though? Like everyone likes to troll and everyone gets triggered every now and then, but I think there's literally people in this world and a shitload of them who are just triggered all the fucking time. They could have tons of money, they could have no money, they could have a girlfriend, they could have no girlfriend, but they're just fucking angry. And it's Twitch chat, and it's YouTube, and it's Twitter, and it's Facebook and Instagram, and they're like pit bulls that have been fed for like a week.
They've got their buzzword. You say, 2 or 3 words in succession, they're coming after your ass regardless. It's like today I was watching a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that before, but
the pilot.
Larry was in the bathroom, and there was this guy talking about he broke his hand because this 300-pound N-word dropped a couch on him that he's a mover. 300-pound N-word, and then Larry is constantly telling this story to other people in the show, and there happens to be a black guy walking by, and they hear every time and flip out. He's like, "Wait, no," and he can't even explain himself that he's telling a horrible thing that happened to him earlier.
Was that in the 9th or the 10th season, the newest one?
I think
one of the newer ones, right?
Yeah. Anyway, it's a really, really funny episode. I kept cracking up watching it, but I feel like that's the world we live in, where it doesn't matter that you didn't, that you were just relaying, what someone else said. It's the fact that you said it,
Like I said, I just don't like this weird hypocrisy that it's super overreact to certain things and other things don't matter. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, again, how people are treating different minority groups like, it's okay to say this about them, but if it's about them, I don't know. And
it seems like a slippery slope.
Yeah. I mean, we're all supposed to be, the whole point is we're supposed to be against racism, so we're all equal, but then when people are reacting to racism, they're not reacting to it in an equal manner.
And you can't say that or else you're racist.
Yeah.
Well, and we can't say that because we're white dudes.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. We're why
we're on Google Hangouts and we all have computers, so we're privileged.
Talk about like the plight of, say, Asian Americans and how like it seems like they get ignored and stuff like that. Well, what do I know about it? I don't know. I only know what I see, and it does seem wrong to me. I mean, that was another thing, that got kind of lost in those riots in LA. And everybody talked about how that had so much to do with race and stuff, and the black communities just being upset about injustice and stuff like that. And I'm like, caught in the middle of it was the Korean community, which the police did not go and help. Meanwhile, looters and people were attacking their businesses and setting them on fire and shooting at them with guns and stuff like that. And when it all came out, everything was about repairing relations between the whites and the blacks, because apparently they're the only people that exist. Meanwhile, the Koreans are picking up the pieces of their lives, and it's and they were specifically targeted because there were a lot of people in the rioters that really seemed to have a lot of hatred for the Koreans, and it said all sorts of racist things to them, telling them to go back to China and all this stuff. And yet,
but you're not going to see that part of the narrative anywhere.
No,
you're only going to see the part that was on the news with the people rioting and the helicopters and all that terrible stuff.
Yeah, and like
I think journalism is good, and there's actual real news, and it's not all fake, obviously. Unless if you think that you're a fucking dumbass. But then even if you see what Cole's saying on YouTube, sometimes they pull it down.
Mm.
And you're just like, okay, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Well, like, see, that's what I mean. I don't drop N-bombs, Orc. It's like the episode that Jay just said. It's context. It's, talking about something. That's all. I'm not going to say the word now. But I just mean, the times that I've said it, it was because I was referencing something or talking. It wasn't me using it or anything like that. Because
it's okay. Logic used it earlier tonight on H3 podcast, and Eminem said it in a rap battle, so you're fine.
Yeah, so I don't think so. Again, I don't think it's a word I should use. I don't think it's anybody should use. But I don't buy in that there's one word in the entire English language you can't say.
But if you're reading Huck Finn,
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna need to be said.
I mean, like I can go on here and I could say, gook or spick or whatever, and that's upsetting. It's not whoa,
Yeah. Well, the only reason I don't, I do say the abbreviated or whatever is because people do get so, I don't know, they go crazy when people do that. It doesn't matter the context. So that's the only reason I.
What I love about Cole is his whole life is locker room talk.
Yeah, but I mean, I could denounce it. I could be like, N-word is a terrible word, but if I say it,
right.
So okay, whatever, fine. It's not like I have a secret desire to say it.
It's just sounds you make with your mouth. I mean,
exactly.
N-word sounds gay though. You gotta say N-bomb. N-bomb's dope. N-bomb.
And then I was like, hey, N-word.
N-word. That's like people on radio, like they get all worked up and they're like, this pitcher is such an a-hole. What an a-hole. Oh my god.
This picture is a C word.
Mother F word. Okay, that's heavy enough. Okay. It's after 4. I guess I should go.
All right, well, plug the Patreon first, real quick.
Yep.
All right, be sure to sub to our Patreon.
Yep. All proceeds will go to, I don't know, some charity that fights racism. Because we are against racism.
Like my Patreon.
Sub to Jet Silver Avenger. Amazing channel.
Yeah, maybe every 6 months I'll do something about comics.
If you found us with all of Jay's clout, sub to Jaythestingray. If you don't want to see me ever again, block Orc 14566.
I'm on Friendster.
I sell quilts on Etsy. I make great posts on Pinterest, and I act like a complete faggot on Tumblr.
Email me all your Instagram pictures of your girlfriend's ass.
And the only reason why I make so many homophobic comments is because I'm hetero by vegan sexual. So
yeah, well, remember what the Beastie Boys said: homophobia is not okay.
Are we still alive? Okay.
That's been a night.
Boys, you're gonna get down.
Have a good one, guys. Peace out.
Yep.